What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome in to day 4 of CHGO Bulls Draft Week, presented by Coors Light. Make the most of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door by going to Instacart. Go to CoorsLight.com/CHGO. Basketball, celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. And also, of course, it is a Sunnyside Summer Thursday. Woo! Shout out to our friends at Sunnyside. Woo! Head to sunnyside.shop or the nearest Sunnyside location near you. Use that promo code HICHGO to get 35% off your order. Bright buys every day, only for 21 and over or Illinois Med card holders. Woo! I'm Pack Bulls _Pack. Big day. Bow. BAWL Sports. Will the Go Gottlieb. Will _Gottlieb. Our pal and producer on the controls, the one and only Joey Spathis at Joey Spathis.
Basketball Joey.
How we doing? Gentlemen,
great.
Everyone out there in Bulls Nation, everybody get some sleep last night?
I did.
Yeah?
I got some sleep, got up, ran some errands. By running errands, I mean working out and drinking juice. But no, I great. I feel absolutely
Drinking
awesome.
juice qualifies as running an errand?
Yeah, because you have to have, the vegetables that I got to put in there, to do it and chop them up.
Oh, you went and got vegetables to make vegetable juice.
No, I went in my fridge and got them.
That's not running.
But it is. It is because I had to go in there
in-home grocery
and do
store.
it in my in-home grocery store, and then to chop it up and to do all I had to do to make one.
Man.
And then I made one for when this is over. So when I get home, I'll have another one. And I'm very excited.
In other
I got
words,
some juice
you
too.
Cooked and meal prepped.
Oh, come on, Go. He understands me. He gets me.
Go, did you get some sleep
people
last
never
night?
understood. I understood. I did not. I was up late writing. I was up late transcribing.
Uh-huh.
I was up late watching film on Matas Buzelis.
I definitely did that. Yeah.
But I'm back and I'm ready to go.
Did I mention
We got
I was
round
up till
2.
4 a.m. doing that? I forgot to mention that part. Yeah. I watched a lot of film like when I got home. A lot.
Too excited to sleep?
I was just that's my process.
Yeah.
Is when the Bulls do anything or do something, I watch everything I can. And then I was like, I think I need to go to sleep like for a minute. So yeah, went and got some Z's and then ran those home errands.
How are you guys feeling today though? Having slept on it, are we feeling any different about Buzelis?
I feel more better about it. I felt good about it then, but I feel even more better about it now. Like I just feel like this was the right choice, and he's really a nice 37% from the 3-point line away for him being a for sure top 3 pick in this draft.
I feel better too. I was a little bit hesitant and skeptical last night. I think I mentioned it at some point. I was worried about why he fell to 11 when everyone thought he was going to be top 10 for sure, maybe top 5.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, wait, did the Bulls just pick a guy that nobody else is picking for a reason? And what is that reason?
Right.
But, honestly, fresh day. I'm choosing to look at it from the other side, which is, hey, the Bulls had a really awesome player with great upside potential fall into their lap that they didn't expect to fall into their lap at 11. They didn't have to trade any assets to move up to get this guy, and we knew that they were really high on Buzelis from the get-go.
Yeah, and they were surprised themselves, as AK said in the press conference. He was surprised that he was even there because everything we saw had him, like you said, man, that's a top 5 guy or even the top 6 or whatever, but the Bulls are right outside the top 10. I don't think anybody had him projected for that. So it's a complete shock. But they did what Will continued to say. I feel they took the best player available at that, and they did not, like you said, trade up to get that player. And they couldn't be more happy, and I couldn't be more happy.
The best player available, I think, by far. I was higher on Topic as a prospect, but I understand this from the Bulls' perspective to not want to redshirt a guy, not want to draft somebody who's already got an injury. And I think if you just trade for Josh Giddey, now we can argue what Ricky said, that you shouldn't be making concessions about the future of your team based on this Giddey trade. Mm-hmm. But the fact of the matter is, they didn't want to draft another guard.
Right.
They didn't want to bring somebody in who had duplicative skill set. So we could argue about that. We could argue about Devin Carter, who I thought was another great option. We could argue about, you could have had Devin Carter and Matas if you had traded Caruso for the 13th pick instead, which apparently was on the table according to a report last week. But at the end of the day, I think Buzelis comes in and he can be like an upside play. He's at a premium position. He's great size, great athlete. And he's got some really interesting tools. Like just watching his film again last night, he has some real potential to be able to create offense.
Yeah.
I don't think he's quite there as a passer. I think he just watching him, I feel like he knows a lot of moves, but like doesn't necessarily do them based on how the defense is guarding them. It's just like, I'm practicing this move with a guy in front of me. So I think once he starts to like let the game slow down a little bit, he learns things a little bit better. He's got to put on some strength. He's got to work on his mobility. Like he can get into his own shot. And there weren't a lot of guys who could do that at a high level at that point in the draft. At a premium position, obviously you've got the Lithuania and the Chicagoland ties. That helps, but I just think he's a good building block. And so maybe he really pops and becomes like an all-star caliber player. I think that's probably at the very highest end of his potential outcomes. But that's exactly what you want if you are a now young and rebuilding team oriented towards the future. And although AK did not say it at the press conference, like all indications from kind of the way he was talking about his moves to the actual moves themselves indicate that he is prioritizing youth, positional size, athleticism, and upside. And that's exactly what we have been calling for 2 years.
Yeah. And you know, we can talk about what else that might mean. Like we saw the Kings just made a pick that freed up some money that could make a certain King Zach LaVine trade more financially feasible. Does it happen today? Does it happen as free agency gets going? We'll see. But you know, to just stay on AK and why Buzelis for a little bit more, I did find it interesting that he was talking about him and his role on that G League Ignite team that basically got their asses stomped on a regular basis, but still produced multiple lottery picks. Correct. I don't know if you have that quote, Joe, but AK was saying he played against men, right? That Ignite team got beat up. A lot of those guys came from winning programs. They didn't win many games, but they competed against grown men. So I think physicality and as close as you can get to an NBA game, that's what he experienced in the G League. Hopefully it translates to the NBA for him faster, but he has a lot of work. He has a lot to work on, and he's looking forward to it, which is something he also himself said. Like, I know I got work to do, and I'm excited to do that work, but I did find it interesting that AK was optimistic that his experience in that season with the G League, despite that Ignite not being good, will be something that helps him translate to the NBA level at a pace that AK deems to be satisfactory.
Yeah, and Matas said those kind of things about why he went to the G League in the first place was to play against that kind of competition. Well, with the NBA rules, you know, with those guys, with that kind of talent in there. His G League coach talked about it as well. And you know he was going to get an opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to showcase what he can do. And I completely forgot that he was on that team during the All-Star break. Hit the game-winning shot. I completely forgot about that. And then I watched when I was watching all the film I was watching, I was like, oh, yeah, I remember that. Because I remember saying, damn, that was a hell of a shot. And then, just seeing that he's the one that did that, I was like, well, that's a good sign also for me as well. But, like, anytime you take – everybody in this draft, as we know, is going to be a risk. And it's going to be a complete risk. And when you're going to get these kind of talent and these kind of players in this kind of draft where nobody is clear-cut or anything like that. So we understand what you're doing, but you want to kind of minimize the risk as far as just how skilled they are, as far as how their mental is, as far as do they have the athleticism, the size, you want to kind of minimize it a little bit. And he does that, you know what I'm saying, for this team. Now, again, like I like AK saying, he definitely has things he's got to work on. And he knows he has things to work on. He mentioned his shooting. He mentioned how he wants to be a better defender than he already is. We already talked about his help defense being really good. But as Will pointed out, he still needs to work a lot on his defense and actually want to defend somebody. You know what I mean? Because there were plenty of possessions where you could just say he didn't feel like playing defense at all. And that ain't going to cut it. You know what I'm saying? In the NBA, you're going to have to put in some kind of effort on the defensive end and not just be that help defender. But those, for me, if those are the only things I could pick out, outside of three-point shooting, those are, for me, minimal things that aren't super, like, red flag glaring for me. The three-point shooting is because you just want a guy who can do that, have that kind of skill set because it elevates your team, elevates his floor as well. So I expect him to be a better three-point shooter, but those other things I think will come with time and, his mental being correct.
And look, I mean, if he was a 37% three-point shooter, if he did have much better handles, if he was better at, passing and shot creating, and the game was slower for him and he did have a bigger, he was able to put more weight on, more muscle, he would have been a top 5 pick.
Yeah, without question.
But that's the nature of this draft. Is there are big questions with all these guys. I think they got a great position of value with their 11th pick. And I think for a lot of G League players for a lot of Ignite players who come into the G League straight out of high school, they go from the high school 3-point line to now having to extend that 3 feet back to the NBA 3-point line. That's a huge adjustment, especially when you don't have like your fully developed body. And so he was short on a lot of shots. He was pushing it, but he has a high release, not a big dip. It's consistent, a little mechanical. I feel like his whole game is a little bit mechanical and just like a little like, stiff, but that's stuff he can work on. I think he will get stronger. I think he will get better at those things. And that I think can open up a lot of the other parts of his game that are really interesting and special. I mean, he does have really good handle for a 6'10" guy. He does have really good athleticism. He's pretty mobile for that size. And so you start, he doesn't have to be a 40% 3-point shooter, but if he gets him up at good volume and he shoots 35, 36%, that's a really valuable asset to add to a young core. And again, we talked about this last night, but you're looking at a team who now has 6'5" Kobe, 6'5" Io, 6'8" Patrick, 6'8" Giddey, and 6'10" Matas. And that's your young core. I mean, that's really good positional size. It's guys who can dribble, pass, shoot. And that's really what this team had lacked, was just versatility. And so who knows what direction they go from here. I think AK kind of was, covering his tracks a little bit and not really offering too much. But I think they just have more options now moving forward. And that is just something that has really limited them without the ability to like change direction at all over these last couple of years.
Yeah, AK brought up versatility repetitively when he was making his remarks on Buzelis last night. People in the comments also enthused about the versatility that this draft pick can provide. Rob saying, Julian Phillips, P. Will, Buzelis may get killed on defense because they're young, except for P. Will, but defensive switchability should translate. And I mean, when you rattled those 3 names off one after the other, you're like, oh, the Bulls do actually have some length on this team now.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute to get into that, but it's a good thing, going forward. And we know that they're not going to, at least I'm resigned. I'm sure you're resigned to the fact, and Will too, that they're not going to be a great defensive team this season. We're completely all right with that. Well, I'm just looking at the offensive end and fun. Can you get out in transition? You know what I'm saying? Can you guys show your athleticism and that skill out in transition, spreading the ball around? I don't even expect.
Can you set the court on fire, so to speak?
No, please don't do that. To be honest with you, but I don't think their half court is going to be great either. I'm not looking at any of that like breakdown basketball kind of thing. I'm just looking at them to run.
Yeah.
That's all I'm looking at these guys to do is run up and down the floor, transition threes, you know what I mean? Transition alley-oops, those kind of buckets, lay-ins, who's using their athleticism and size well, who's getting inside to score a little bit better, whose mid-range game has gotten a little bit better as well. Like, I'm looking at those kind of things for this team this season. And anything else for me on top of that is just going to be gravy. And I know we got a break, and so I don't want to get into this. We'll get into it after the break. I wanted to ask you about that stiffness on him because I found him to be a little bit fluid. So I kind of wanted to ask, your opinion about what you saw on those things.
Stiffness versus fluidity. Yeah. Let's knock out our first break there because also the NBA draft resumes according to the countdown on the broadcast in a little over a minute. So we can come back and see what Toronto does with the first pick of the second round and continue breaking down what happened with the Bulls yesterday and what AK had to say about it. While we are doing that, and you know what to do if you're hanging out with us on YouTube. 1, thank you. 2, hit that like button. Do it for Troll Joe. Do it for Goat, who barely got any sleep last night because he was working hard. Shout out to C4. I'm still afraid to drink that stuff.
Don't be afraid, man. All the things you have put in your body.
I had plenty of coffee today. I did also have some juice.
Congratulations.
Drank my AG.
No, I'm proud of you.
And now I'm drinking this juice.
There it is, right there. You know what that is? That is a Coors Light, ladies and gentlemen. Look at it. Listen, guys.
Didn't have enough of them last night.
I was about to say, for me, my MVP was my child. My agency was my Save My Life. Matt Peck's MVP was that cold lager, cold filtered refreshment in Coors Light.
Kept my stress levels down.
Oh, it kept them right. It was awesome. Because between work, social media, and the choices life throws our way, it's no wonder we're more worked up. Coors Light celebrates rising above and choosing that chill mindset. Why not turn that rained out barbecue into the Will the Goat Gottlieb 512th annual karaoke house party? Or, after a tough loss, settle the score with the ice-cold piece offering. Make the choice by choosing chill, then reach for a frosty cold Coors Light. Because when those mountains serve blue, you know what to do. Because it's cold lager, cold filter, and cold package for a smooth the finish. Embrace that chill mindset and crack open a Coors Light, that mountain cold refreshment that is crisp and refreshing as a Colorado haze. Now, make the most out of your time and choose chill. You can get Coors Light delivered straight to your door via Instacart by going to CHGO basketball. That's CHGO basketball. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
It is awesome that you can get beer delivered straight to your door.
To your door.
But, sometimes you just feel like running errands, getting out of the house a little bit.
Fair.
You ran some errands to your fridge to make some juice.
I did. Woo, exhausted.
But if you feel like making a run to, shout out Benny's or your local grocery store and getting an icy cold case of Coors Light from their coolers, just because you are out running errands anyway, maybe you should do that in your brand new vehicle from Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram.
Shout out.
When it comes to finding your next vehicle, make Ray CDJR your number one draft pick. Screw you, Reza Shea. This June, shop Chrysler's Dodge's Jeeps and Rams at Ray CDJR in Fox Lake. And during the Make This the Summer event, find the perfect vehicle and score huge savings too. For a limited time, you can lease a new 2024 Jeep Wrangler Willys 4xe for only $419 a month, or shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. Let the amazing team at Ray CDJR help you land the perfect vehicle at the perfect price because of that raised price promise. And you know what that means. The price you see on their dealership website is the price you will pay when you go to the dealership itself and say, hey, saw this car for this price. I want this car for this price. Ray and his team will say, absolutely. But first, let's see if we can find you even more savings. That's the raised price promise. So if you're in the market for a new vehicle, you've got to check out the team at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram because they are the only team that we recommend. Visit them today on Route 12 in Fox Lake. For more information, you can visit Ray CDJR in Fox Lake or raycdjr.com. Serving the community since 1963.
Freedom things.
Whoop, whoop.
Like before we went to break, I was talking about the stiffness and the fluidity of Matas, but I found it to be just a little more fluid. Like he has a little wiggle on him, which allowed him to, kind of make these behind the backs, these crossovers, especially in transition, or when he would be top of the key, isolated, a couple dribbles, and he's at the bucket. For me, it was just a little wiggle that he had that I liked. I didn't really see the strong stiffness in his game. So I just wanted you to break that down.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that he's like immobile by any means.
Right.
I think like watching him, and we talked about this a little bit last night. Mm-hmm. Like when I think of really elite ball handlers, and obviously this guy's 6'10", he's not going to be Allen Iverson. But like think about Allen Iverson for a second. When he gets into his crossover, it was like more than his full body width. He pulled the ball outside his body width on one side and then brought it to the other side outside his body width. And to me, when I watch Buzelis, everything feels like it's still in that like middle third.
Yeah.
And like it's just hard to get guys to change directions when you're still in that same lane. And I think that like that's something that you can keep working on. You add mobility, you add strength. I think once he gets stronger, he'll be able to use his shoulders a little bit more to like kind of get through guys because I think he kind of bounced off of them a lot. And so when you have to rely on getting guys to change direction in order to beat them, and you aren't really able to do that, and you're not strong enough yet to really be able to like physically punish guys and get downhill, I think that's where he got in trouble, and that's where he would turn the ball over or fall over in the lane. But like, I'm not saying he can't get better at that. I expect him to. He's going to put on muscle. He's going to get bigger. And I think he gets better as a ball handler. So, and I think it also like it occurred to me watching his jump shot too. It's not that it's like fundamentally wrong. I think he's got very like fundamental sound form, but it's just like, it's very like kind of robotic and mechanical. And I don't feel like there's a lot of like fluidity to his game. Not to say that he's like immobile at all. It's just like, it feels like more OG Anunoby and less Kyrie.
I got you. I understand.
Second round is underway, gentlemen. I believe Toronto's 31st pick is in, Joseph. It's in.
In now.
Bulls don't have a pick, by the way.
Swimwear.
As we currently stand, South Garzon pointing out in the comments, Bulls do not have a second round pick as of right now. They traded it to New Orleans in the Lonzo sign and trade deal.
Yes, and where's New Orleans picking in this draft in the second round?
In the second round, Pelicans are...
Hey, Jim, who'd the Bulls draft?
Oh, my goodness.
Very excited about this.
Woo!
There it is.
Raptors taking Jonathan Mogbo at number 31, the product from San Francisco, who I noticed in Goat's big board. You describe him as a small ball 5. He's 6'6", but he's got a 7'2" wingspan.
Oh, wow. The Raptors got another Raptor. I'm shocked.
The Raptors drafted a Raptor.
I'm shocked. That is their whole MO. They want all the toolsy wings and centers and forwards you got with length and athleticism. And this guy has a great motor as well, man. Like they got a really solid player in that. He's good.
Yeah, he really popped at the combine. He was like the name that everybody was talking about over there. He's a little bit smaller, 6'6" and a quarter without shoes, but 7'2" wingspan, 37.5-inch vertical. And at San Francisco, he just put up absolutely bonkers numbers. Per 75 possessions, 21.5 points, 15.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 2.5 steals, a block and a half. So just really productive. He is a little bit older, 22.7 years old, but he's just a super interesting player. Very Raptors, extremely Raptors. So it was cool to see him kind of climb up the pre-draft process and get himself to the top of the second round. Super exciting player. I had him a little bit lower just because I think some of the people that I talked to were saying top of the second round is maybe a little bit of a stretch, but super interesting prospect. And for a Raptors team that's again, taking swings on talent, why not?
We have our next pick in Utah at 32. Our guy Gary in the comments saying Utah is taking all the bigs that the Bulls have wanted. Or no, I'm sorry, that was Samuel Martin in the comments. Kyle Filipowski of Duke, who some were expecting to be a first-round prospect, first-round selection. There was talk about the Bulls maybe looking at him. He falls to round 2 today, but not that far into round 2. He goes to Utah, where they just love themselves some bigs.
I mean, it's funny. The first 2 picks kind of fall in line with both of those kind of teams. Like, the Raptors love Raptors, and we all know the Utah Jazz love tall white guys. Like, all this kind of works out well. The teams are doing what the teams always kind of do right now.
And nobody loves jazz like tall white guys.
Oh, no. It's the jam. I saw Seinfeld, hot and heavy. It's the jam out here, man. But, yeah, I mean, Philip, much has been discussed about him. We know his skill, you know what I'm saying? We know his motor. They talk about his leadership. His passing is what always stood out to me for him. He's very, very physical. Joey thinks he kind of borders on the line of dirty a little bit, you know what I mean, as a Duke player. But, it's about the T-Rex arms, as you call them.
Yeah, negative wingspan.
Yes, because that's what dropped him all the way to the second round. So him going in the high second round that's not really surprising because that skill set he has is still a really good one.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a good player, and I like this situation for him. He can play alongside Lowry at the 4-5. He can play maybe with Walker Kessler and Lowry at the 3-4-5. They've got Taylor Hendricks, who was their top pick last year. So they're just collecting talent, and I think that's what they need to do. I think he had a chance to be a first-round pick. It's a little surprising that he slid into the second round, but I wasn't super high on his upside. I think he lands in a good home, and Will Hardy is such a good coach.
Yes.
They've got great player development. I think they're going to try to figure out ways to help make all of their young players the best versions of themselves.
I guess briefly worth mentioning while we were on Utah and their selection, there was some chatter around there that they were one of those names or they were one of those teams who may be interested in the Zach LaVine trade this offseason. But I did see that Mark Stein basically put the kibosh on that, according to his sources anyway, that that was just chatter and the Jazz are not, in fact, interested in Zach. I've also heard that the Jazz might be willing to listen to offers for Lauri Markkanen, as you're talking, Will, about just collecting talent right now and shifting a little bit younger, and maybe them, just kind of punting on this upcoming season and trying to get themselves into the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. So it'll be interesting to see if Lowry is still with Utah come October when a fresh season rolls around.
And Mikal Bridges just got traded for 5 first-round picks.
Yeah,
I'm sure Danny Ainge is looking for the same or more for Lauri Markkanen, who actually was an all-star, who's making less money. And although he is on the final year of his deal, and will be extension eligible. I mean, he is like a player that a team like the Thunder make a lot of sense for.
Yes.
Yep.
They've got the draft capital to do it. I do want to say one more thing about that Mikal Bridges trade.
Sure.
And like maybe putting
putting that
into context with like some other potential Bulls trades. Like, and we saw this today in Matt Moore's write-up at the Action Network about the Bulls situation with Caruso, and now teams aren't able to ask for him in Zach LaVine or Vooch trades. When you have a lot of assets, teams are going to ask for all those assets. When you don't have a lot of assets and you want a guy, like, you can just give them the best offer. And so I think it almost worked against the Knicks to have so many draft picks, because then the Nets wanted all those draft picks. They make you give them everything that you have. So these trades don't happen in a vacuum. I think like the situation, the context, the contract plays a big role into it. And so I think there is kind of like, not obviously like the Bulls should be collecting draft picks, but like there's, I think, a slight downside to being a team like the Thunder or the Jazz right now who have so many picks. Because if you want to trade for someone, that team is going to ask for everything.
Yeah. Let me ask you one more question, Matt, about the Knicks, if you don't mind. What is their window with this trade that they've made for Mikal Bridges and re-signing OG Anunoby? Because they're clearly going for it. So how long do you think they can go for it?
So I'm looking up their cap sheet right now, but I mean, Mikal Bridges has 2 years. I believe Jalen Brunson has 2 more years. So I think that's like the real window. Let's see here. Yeah, Jalen Brunson becomes an unrestricted free agent in 2026. Same with Mikal. Same with Mitchell Robinson. Josh Hart's under contract for 1 more year after that. DiVincenzo. So they've got like these young. I mean, they're a little bit. They're not like super young, but they're in their mid to late 20s. Yeah. They're under contract for a couple of years. Obviously, this OG Anunoby contract is like the first big one, but they are in this window of 2 to 3 years before they get super expensive, where they can be at the top of the East with all the talent they have and not overly expensive. I think that's another reason why they traded for Mikal. It's like, if you would have traded for Zach, you couldn't then bring back OG Anunoby. You couldn't then also bring back Hartenstein. Like, that matters for team building. And I think that context gets lost a lot. The impact of how much you make and the production and whether those two things line up, that really matters in these trades. And so a guy like Paul George might be a better player, but he might not get as much in return because he's older, because he makes more money, and because he's only got 1 year left on his contract. Like Mikal at $20 million, 23 this year, 25 next year, like that kind of production on that with that many years left. That's why we were arguing for the Bulls to trade Caruso sooner, because 2 years on that contract makes a huge difference.
Huge.
And to answer your question from earlier, Dave, about like with that pick that we sent the Pelicans and where is it today?
Yes, sir.
It's actually been moved several times since then.
Oh.
The Bulls pick that they sent in the Lonzo trade to New Orleans will be selected 41st today by the Philadelphia 76ers. Wow. It made its way from the Bulls to Boston to San Antonio after making its way to New Orleans and now Philadelphia.
Okay, thank you.
Meanwhile, we got Milwaukee Bucks on the clock here at pick 33. Some interesting names still on the board here, including a guy that we talked about with our buddy Ricky O'Donnell. Tyler Smith is still available. Okay. Tyler Kolek from Marquette, the guard, also still available. Another one of those older prospects. He's 23.
The pick is actually in here.
What's that?
The pick is actually in.
Pick is in
for the Bucks.
Pick is in for the Bucks. That's just what they say. Because Joey's putting it together to make the sound. I thought I said it up right. Like, he was going to do the sound right there. It's all right, Joe. I can do this all night. There it is.
And it is one of those names we just mentioned, Tyler Smith, going to the Milwaukee Bucks at pick 33. I feel like this is pretty solid value for a guy that a lot of people are talking about maybe jumping up, like taking a big leap in the last week or two leading up to the draft from where he was initially mocked as a second-round pick.
Yeah, I mean, just a lengthy guy. Obviously, the Naz Reid comp, you see that, and obviously he has the shot. When you watch his tape, that's what's going to be shown. It's him taking that shot, and everything is either off a pick or him just sitting up right there to shoot it. But he can definitely shoot that basketball. He has other issues that he's going to have to work on for sure, especially, I think, on the defensive end. But overall, yeah, a guy that can stroke that ball like that, yeah, you take a shot on that.
He was 17 on your big board, Will.
Yeah, he was much higher. I know we've got to get to an ad break here.
For sure.
shortly, so I don't want to go too long, but I just think like that kind of size with that kind of shooting next to Giannis, maybe that allows them to play a little bit smaller. They move on from Brook Lopez, or they can go big and put Giannis at the 3 and still have that shooting out there. Maybe it allows you to move on from Bobby Portis. I think he's going to be a very good player who provides rim protection and shooting. I think next to Giannis, that makes a lot of sense.
Bucks fans were pissed last night, a lot of them, that I saw on Twitter with their selection of A.J. Johnson because they drafted him way over the consensus where he was. And so this, I feel like, is coming back in the right direction, especially for a team that needs a piece to help them win now.
I see. All right, we going to break it?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. Let's knock it out. We got Portland on deck next with the 4th pick of the second round. Hit that like button if you didn't do it the first time around. We got over 200 of y'all watching in the middle of a weekday afternoon. Kudos to each and every one of you out there, especially if you are sneakily watching from your place of work. Mad respect. Hit the like button. Who's next, Dave?
I don't know why I made that. The sneaky voice. Like he's a
leprechaun giggle over there.
Yeah, shout out Troll Joe. Sunny Side. That's what's next. You got your Coors Light, right? You want to get your Sunny Side correct. Because it will also save your life. Also, it will do those things, man. It's your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality hydroponics in the city. It has everything you need to elevate your summer. It's a one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs. Sunnyside has expertly curated menu with over 100 strains to choose from, plus easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Sunnyside is Illinois' favorite dispensary with locations in the city, Wrigleyville and River North, to the suburbs, Champaign, South Beloit, and more. And, Matt Peck, what's your favorite thing right now going on in Sunnyside?
Oh, the Good News brunch-flavored gummies.
It's the only time he gets fancy.
So good, man.
Matt doesn't even do brunch, but he does brunch gummies.
I don't.
He does brunch gummies.
The brunch guy.
Head to Sunnyside.shop and use the code HICHGO at checkout for 35% off your favorite brands like Cresco, Good News, and more to elevate your first purchase. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 and over, or Illinois MetCard holders.
NBA Finals over. Sad. NHL Finals also now over. Congrats to the Panthers, I guess. Sad. But there is still so much going on in the world of sports throughout the summer. We've got like Summer Olympics coming up in a little bit. That's exciting. We got Euros going on and Copa America going on right now for all you soccer fans out there. Shout out.
Is that what they were watching yesterday?
Is that what? Who was watching?
Soccer on when we got to PB&J.
Yeah, that was. I think that was Ecuador. Yeah, that was Copa America.
Okay, all right.
Jamaica and Ecuador. I think we're playing.
Yes.
Yep. USA have their next game tonight against Panama.
All right.
Let's go USA. Woo! But there's also, of course, WNBA action. And you should be making some picks and making some money on those picks with Prize Picks when you watch Angel Reese in the Sky take on the Las Vegas Aces tonight, 6 o'clock Central. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS because it's just you against the numbers. You using your own brain and your own sports smarts, not battling those weirdos in their basements.
Jerks.
All you have to do is pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 different player stat projections for the game that you're jazzed to watch tonight. Hopefully, that's Sky Aces. Rep the Sky. Woo. And watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends. Become part of the Prize Picks community today. And I haven't looked to see yet what some of Angel Reese's more thans and less than numbers are, but I'm feeling more thans. Just basically whatever Angel Reese is projected to get. Bet that she'll get more.
We'll take it.
She's a dog.
I mean,
can't teach that.
Can't teach that. Can't teach that, goat. Oh, man. Download that Prize Picks app today to take advantage of all the fun and the opportunities to score big. You can turn $10 into $1,000. Just download the app and use promo code CHGO for a first-time deposit match up to $100. That's promo code CHGO when you download Prize Picks, the app, for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Not easy.
Go. Did you have another thought on Tyler Smith where we left off?
I saw some people talking about why he didn't get drafted in the first round. I had him much higher. I think, as you mentioned, Matt, like he did slide a little bit. And honestly, I'm not sure. Like to me, like that kind of size, that kind of shooting, I think he can move a little bit, but like it's just it was a little strange to me that he did slide out of the first round, especially when you look at some of the guys that went ahead of him, guys like AJ Johnson, who the Bucks also took, as Joey mentioned. So, I think they just got really good value here. And I think that's the kind of thing when you are such an expensive team who's paying Giannis and Dame over $40-50 million a year, you need to find cheap contributors. This second round pick exception that the NBA now does allows you to get these guys for 4-year deals at like $1 million, $1.5 million. And that's just really good value for teams that want to continue to build that way. So I just think it's a great pick.
Yeah, it's a good pick, man.
Speaking of, I believe our next pick is in pick 34.
Okay. And that would be the
New York via Portland.
Okay. New York via Portland.
Yeah. I never watched that show. Did you ever watch that show?
Never watched it. Everybody raved about it. Did you watch Portlandia?
I did not.
Never saw it. Never looked at it. Heard nothing but great things about it. Shout out Fred Armisen.
I was going to say, Fred Armisen's a funny dude.
Oh, yeah. He's pretty
Just never got around to watching that show. It is Tyler Kolek from Marquette going to New York via Portland with the number 34 pick. There's a decent amount of Bulls fans who are also Marquette fans. You know, it's a Midwest team, very impressive college basketball program over the years. What do you make of this pick here, Goat?
Well, it appears that it was traded for 3 second-round picks going to Portland, New York moving back up. And I wonder if this, there was a lot of commentary about the Knicks hard capping themselves at the first apron with the Bridges trade because they took in more salary than they traded out. Does this mean now that a Deuce McBride could be involved in that trade? You replace him with a backup point guard and Tyler Kolek, who is very much like a table setter, Monte Morris kind of pick and roll facilitator type. But that could be valuable. And, now that you've got Bridges in there, Randall coming back, it allows you to, not necessarily have to have that kind of shot creation. So that could be something. But I think he's a good player. I wouldn't have taken him in the first round. A lot of teams associated him with the Suns at 22. They ended up moving back and getting Ryan Dunn. So I think this spot makes sense for him, and I think he'd be a good player on this Knicks team.
He's perfect for the Knicks. He's a Tibbs player. He is a goon dude, and he's not afraid. He's nasty too, honestly. He will throw an elbow at you. He is that kind of player. He is perfect for Tom Thibodeau, man. So, yeah, he don't mind sweating, getting dirty, and all those kind of things. He'll be that kind of guy for the New York Knicks and that kind of player for them. So he'll be that guy challenging, I think, Brunson in like practice, making him tougher and things. But if you put him on the floor, he's going to be diving for those loose balls. And he gets that, and you get into the paint with him, he's going to toss that elbow at you. But he does the basic things well. You know, really solid out the pick and roll. Has that toughness. Great, solid passer, won't make too many mistakes out there. That is a Tibbs kind of player, and Tibbs is masterful at developing point guards. So that is a great move for them, man.
Shout out,
great at that.
Shout out, Augustine. Charlie in the comments saying, as a Marquette student right now, hey, shout out to you. That's a head scratcher. He doesn't play amazing defense, but he tries. He also only goes left, which will definitely be exposed in the NBA like it was by UConn multiple times. That
tries part is all I'm talking about.
I mean, also, on the other hand, Jaylen Brown just won a championship.
Come on.
So,
yeah, man.
Maybe sometimes you don't need both hands.
He's an agitator. Right. Well done, Matt. $300 million of one good hand to get you.
One good hand can get you $300 million in an NBA championship.
Remember that, kids.
And a Finals MVP.
Remember that, children.
Another pick in right here.
Another pick.
Johnny Furphy.
Johnny Furphy.
The
serious, unserious name in this year's draft class. Congratulations.
If there's ever a sitcom name in this draft, it's Johnny Furphy. Johnny Furphy.
Johnny Furphy.
I actually love this
good
pick.
friends with Johnny Tsunami.
I actually
Shout
love
out
this
DComs.
pick for the Pacers, who, I mean, Furphy, like, analytics models were really high on him. Like, we're talking in the lottery.
Okay.
He's a really good shooter. He's big, not a great defender, but he's like positionally big enough to be able to keep guys in front of him, and a very good rebounder. And you look at like what the Pacers are building. They want shooting. They want to play fast. They want to get guys around Siakam and Halliburton that can get shots up and play defense. And I think he really fits that. So there's kind of a hole at 3 with that team. You've got Jarris Walker. Can he slide down? Maybe. You've got Siakam now, who's kind of locked in at the 4. Matherin's very much a scoring 2. You've got Nembhard, so I think that's a solid pick for them.
Value pick, projected to go sort of late first round, and they get him there at 30. What was that? 35.
35.
Aussie.
And another pick in.
Meanwhile, people in the comments agree that name is ridiculous. Fish saying that's such a fake name. Our guy Strix saying just change it to Furby.
No, Johnny, he's the coolest. It's Johnny Furphy. Yo, Saved by the Bell football star written all over that.
Y'all get invited to Furphy's party tonight?
Is Kelly dating Johnny Furphy? Oh God.
Another pick in here.
Juan Nunez
going to San Antone with pick 36.
I said this on yesterday's show.
Okay.
He was mocked to the Spurs by all of the major outlets. So maybe there was a little promise going on there. But he's a big guard, really good passer, cannot shoot. Very similar profile to Ricky Rubio. Obviously, the Spanish element there too.
Okay.
But interesting player. And they really just need, he's kind of like Trey Jones as well. They need somebody to be a table setter, help Wemby out, and get him the ball where he needs it.
Shout out to him, man. Wow, that's interesting. Everybody had him mocked to the Spurs.
Woj also just tweeted the Knicks could also be moving pick 38 as well.
Man.
Knicks are busy.
While we have a break here in the pick, should we talk more about what we heard from AK last night?
Yes, please. I was going to recommend the same thing.
Great.
No, it's okay.
And thanks.
No, I do have more thought. I'm fine with everything AK said about Buzelis. I know he was thrilled to get him because they didn't think he was going to fall all the way to 11. That's fine. The stuff that he has said about the Giddey and Caruso trade, I was less enthusiastic about.
Yeah, so maybe just I'll read a quote here from that, if I can find it. Let's see. He said, I'm obviously very happy about the trade. I'm happy that we were able to get this deal done and bring Josh to Chicago, bring a very talented guard that is an elite playmaker and rebounder with elite size. His game is predicated on making everyone better around him. Those guys are hard to find, and they're not available. We were fortunate to get him, and it comes at a high price, which was AC. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We talked about it. He obviously identified the specific guy that he wanted and paid a premium to get him.
Yes.
I think he lost in negotiations there.
Yes.
And he kind of brought that up too, saying that he said, that's a trade we preferred over picks because it's hard to acquire players this young, this productive, that early in their careers, especially when he already has 11 triple doubles in his career. We were just excited and we thought that was the right price to pay for Josh. I think it kind of speaks to what we had been talking about. He obviously cared about building with this specific kind of player, that he's liked that style of player and that archetype for a while now. I think, like I said, I think he lost in negotiations there, but that was kind of the thought process behind it.
Yes. A couple of things. One, Johnny Furphy. I can't get it out of my head. Man. It's hilarious, though. It's all right. That's all I hear.
It's been a long week, yo. Oh, God.
But, yeah, at the press conference overall, I didn't have a issue with it. I don't like the stance he took because, again, for the 1,000th time, it is not about the player. It is not about Josh Giddey to me. I like Josh Giddey. I think he can play. It's the fact that you went in against a team that has the most picks in the NBA and walked out with nothing. And Will, I've said this to you before, and we talked about it, how the Bulls could not operate from a position of strength. Everything was from a position of weakness. And I felt the only strength that they could operate from was Caruso. And I still feel like you operated from a position of weakness in that instance. Because, yes, you got the player you wanted, but you didn't get everything you could have. Because you could have gotten much more, at least a second-round pick. That's it. That's all I would have taken. And if they said that's all we're given, fine. But to walk away with nothing and a player-for-player swap, yes, you got the player you wanted. I have no problem getting the player you wanted. That's fine. You have that conviction. We'll see what he can do. But then to not just maximize and get everything you need when you know that is the only player you could truly operate from a position of strength on. That's what was disappointing and upsetting. So I didn't like the stance he took at that. I felt like he kind of dodged it.
And I totally agree with that. And it's because he he kind of fell in love with Giddey.
Yeah.
If he was willing to just say, sorry, Sam Presti, unless you're throwing in a pick, I'm out. Like, I'm walking away. You can give me Giddey and a pick or I'm out. And instead of like taking a step back, waiting a few days to see if Presti would come back, he got this deal done 5 days before the draft.
Yes, he did.
When there was no pressure to do it then. And it was clear that like he wanted to get his specific guy, and that cost him in the negotiations. And I think that is concerning when you are entering, it's great to get a young player. I agree with you. Like, I'm a little higher on Giddey than it sounds like most of the internet is, but that's concerning when you are entering a retooler on young players, a rebuild, whatever you want to call it, that you can't win those negotiations and get picks from a team that clearly has them. I just said this with the Knicks and the Nets. Like, when you have the stuff, that's when you get pigeonholed into having to give up the stuff when you want your guy. And so as soon as I think AK locked in on Giddey and he didn't want to lose out on potentially getting that guy, he didn't want to lose out on the opportunity to get the deal, he agreed to it before he maybe could have taken a step back and gotten a little bit more.
It's Kramer.
I mean, gross.
I'll take it.
And then the other thing that he was talking about with Giddey's game that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, the triple doubles thing really rubbed me the wrong way. Like, who the
11.
F cares?
11.
If you're an executive talking about targeting a player in a trade, look how many triple doubles he already has in his young career. It's a meaningless stat.
I hate triple doubles.
It's a fun stat, but it's a meaningless one. You should not care about triple doubles if you're an executive building a roster.
What? You hate triple doubles?
I think that they...
Is this because you can't get rebounds?
People put too much weight on. People put too much weight behind them.
Okay.
In my opinion, they put too much weight behind them. It is a meaningless, made-up stat.
And it's also like, if you had 39 and 10, then it wasn't a good game. But if you had 32 and 10,
that's not a triple-double.
It wasn't a triple-double.
So the other thing,
completely disagree.
The other thing he said,
doubles are awesome.
Okay, sure, they're awesome. I don't want my freaking VP of basketball ops talking about when explaining why he made a trade.
Sure, but that doesn't mean I hate them. They're awesome.
Oh, hello, Joe. Do we have a pick?
Hey,
Bobby
Johnny Furphy?
Clintman? Oh. There's only one Johnny Furphy. Went to who? Pacers? Timberwolves? Timberwolves.
No, Detroit.
Timberwolves pick
Pistons.
sent to Detroit. The Detroit Pistons get Bobby Clement, big man, shooter, and I think he kind of fits along. We talked about it last night, taking Ron Holland. That's more of a project. That's more of an upside play. I think Clement's going to be a little bit more ready to play now, provide some floor spacing in that team that really needs it. So it's a nice pick. I thought he was going to be late first round, early second, and that's exactly where he went.
Interesting. All right. Well, so Detroit trying to make some things happen. Next on the clock is New York Knicks again, which Woj just tweeted a few minutes ago. They might also be looking to move. So we'll see what happens there. But
the Knicks are trading 38 to OKC.
Knicks are trading 38 to OKC. Okay, thank you, Joseph. We'll see what OKC does as they are now on the clock.
That's the second player who's actually there, though, at the actual draft.
Oh, nice.
Shout out to him, man. It's rare to see guys there for the second round.
He
Also,
might have been
NBA's
a first round green room guy because
and then he fell.
He was kind of like mid-20s, late 20s.
The young man who went to the Spurs was there as well. Yeah.
NBA Deputy Commissioner Mark Tatum, hilariously short when he stands next to NBA players. Circling back to AK stuff. The other thing that he said that bugged me was about Giddey's shooting.
Okay.
He said, coming here to Chicago, he's going to be able to demonstrate more playmaking and he'll make everyone else better, which is the thing that Giddey kept talking about in his Zoom press conference. I want to make my teammates better. AK then continued, quote, most of the players that come into our league become a better shooter. So I think once he becomes a better shooter, he's going to be a threat and he's going to be able to play make much better. And then he talked about how, he's been watching him closely and, throughout his young career. He also mentioned that he rebounds, which he likes, and that rebounding is something the Bulls needed, in AK's opinion.
Sure.
But the thing about, once you get to the NBA, you're just going to be a better shooter. What the F are you talking about, man?
Yeah, that was crazy.
And I'm not saying that Buzelis isn't going to put the work in and prove people wrong who are concerned about his three-point percentage in his season with the G League Ignite, like I am, and I'm just taking it at face value. I'm like, dude, you couldn't crack 30%. Bad. That's bad. And for AK to just say, well, most players who come to the NBA just get better at shooting. I don't like him using that and his explanation for why he's so excited about this guy.
I mean, it's very consistent with the way he's approached this the whole time he's been here, and I agree that's problematic.
Yeah, I agree with you.
He's betting on tools. He's betting on guys like Dalen Terry and Io and Patrick and Julian Phillips, and saying these guys are long, they're athletic, they can put the ball on the floor, but they're projects. And we believe in our player development staff to be able to coach them up and teach them how to shoot, because that's the easiest thing to teach somebody. You can't teach someone how to be an athlete. You can't teach someone how to be 6'10". You can't teach someone how to have a 7'1" wingspan. You can't teach someone how to shoot. And that, I think, is very much in line with, the kind of team that he wants to develop. And you see like the blueprint matching up, right? You get your Lonzo replacement in Giddey, who's high feel, good passer, but like not really somebody who can put pressure on the rim. You've got Aya, who can come in and be like a versatile Swiss Army knife defensive type who can hit a three. That's Caruso. And so I think he really is kind of trying to take the blueprint from 2021 when it worked and put it onto this roster and say, how can we push these pieces around? Even Matas is like very much in the mold of a Patrick Williams when they drafted him. So I think that just really speaks volume to, yes, they're making changes on the roster, but I think philosophically speaking, the way that they want to build a basketball team, I don't think that has changed. And
it kind of answered my question also that I kept asking, did you all feel AK? And when I asked what Purdue, when I asked him about, do you feel AK is still trying to replicate what he did? And because it feels like that's why we got a couple of seasons of what we got, because he wasn't ready to move on from the success he actually saw from the team that he put together. Do you feel like he was trying to?
You're referencing the hot start in the 21-22 season?
Correct.
Yeah.
He never got to see that, all the way through. And, it's human nature, I think, to have, if you're building something and you don't get the opportunity to see it, even though you saw it work a little bit, to try to come back to it, you know what I mean? And go back to what worked for you and just do it a little differently. So I'm not mad at him for having that kind of mindset. But it's just, again, it's certain things that he says, and I agree with you, Matt. You can't say those kind of things right there, like, oh, bro, just show up in the league and, we got you. It's all good. You'll learn to shoot. And I also found it interesting that Giddey, when they asked him what he wants to get better at in the offseason, he strictly mentioned defense, because he was like, I want to be good on both sides of the ball. I want to be a threat on both sides of the ball. So the things he was going to be working on and watching film on a lot was being a better defender. He said the shooting, I'll work on that too. But he wants to focus more on being a better defender more than anything.
I believe we have our next pick in that the Thunder are selecting after getting that pick from the New York Knicks at 38. And it is UC Santa Barbara prospect AJ Mitchell going to OKC at number 38. The Knicks getting cash from OKC to make this straight. The word considerations was not in the tweet. So they should probably delete that and retweet it. Okay. It's cash considerations. Officially.
That is true.
Shout out Ricky and Pat.
Shout out.
So consensus mocks had AJ Mitchell going at 45. So a little bit of a reach here at 38, but not that much. And I think second round is when a lot of teams tended to say, hey, it's not necessarily what we deem to be on our board best player available, but let's take a swing on a guy in the second round. And who cares where he was mocked? I really like him. I had him at 34. He's a little bit older. He's 22 years old, but really dynamic guard who can get downhill. Elite score, 27.5 points per 75 possessions, 5.5 assists. I think he's going to be really good. And it just, again, it's consistent with what the Oklahoma City Thunder are looking for. Dribble, pass, shoot, rim pressure, guys who can be dynamic with the ball in their hands, who can shoot off the ball, and who can make plays. And when you put 5 guys out on the court who can really create offense for themselves, for others, defend, shoot, like that's the recipe for success. We just saw the Celtics win a championship. We just saw the Thunder be the first seed in the Western Conference. I think that's a really good pick for them. It looked like there may have been a pick involved in that trade too, as well as cash. We'll see what happens there. In the meantime, I'm out of Coors Light. I'm going to get one. Dave, you want one?
Yeah, I sure do.
Okay.
Sure. Wouldn't mind one at all.
Talk amongst yourselves.
I do. I wanted to get into what AK talked about as far as the injuries and the guys coming back from that. The first one, obviously, the big one was Lonzo. It was wild to me. Bless you, Joe. It was wild to me to hear him actually say that Lonzo was cleared for all basketball-related activities, because that's not something I've heard for 2 years. And so now for him to be at this point, is exciting. You know what I mean? Just for him as a person. What did you make of that, Will? That he actually just came out and just dropped that kind of mini bomb on everybody. That Lonzo is healthy and he's ready to play.
Yeah, he said Lonzo is, quote, clear to do pretty much everything on the floor. We'll continue to strengthen him, and the next 2 months we'll see what it's going to look like. I think there's optimism that he's going to get back out there. And like you said, I mean, he has not played since January 2022. At that time, CHGO did not exist.
It did not.
We have not covered a game that Lonzo Ball has played in for the Chicago Bulls, which is crazy. So just on a personal level, obviously, like it would just be very cool to get him back out there to see what he looks like. Does not sound like he is actually playing 5-on-5 yet. And I think that's going to be the big barrier. Can he take contact? Can he play at full speed? Who knows? But it's just nice to know that he is kind of trending that direction. And I think it also kind of tells you that they're not going to be able to medically retire him and clear that money off their books. Who knows if that's even still on the agenda with like the way that it seems like the roster is going. But it seems like he is kind of making a push to come back, and I think kind of the late August, early September window is when they're going to really find out if he can play. Yeah,
another player that he mentioned, he talked about was Zach LaVine, who he said Zach says pretty much ahead of schedule, and he's pretty much cleared to do everything as far as his basketball-related activities is as well. But the one was Patrick Williams, because basically he was like, I don't know what's going on with Pat. He's doing stuff. We'll see. I don't like hearing that. And it kind of just makes me believe he's not where he's supposed to be right now.
Yeah, he said Patrick is, quote, still on his way to recovery. They asked again if he thinks that Patrick will be ready to start the year. He said, I think so. He was planning to be ready for training camp. Definitely concerning. Bone edema's not something that I think goes away easily. Obviously, he had the surgery, and that was supposed to help. I don't remember the exact timeline that they put on him, if there was one. Part like the conspiracy theorist in me is wondering if he's trying to like suppress his value. If like teams aren't gonna, if he's injured like that, teams may not be as excited to offer him a new contract. But that's conspiracy.
Conspiracy Will's my guy.
That's conspiracy. Who knows if he will be ready? Who knows where he's at right now? But that was definitely concerning to just find out that he is not quite there yet. I mean, that's a big deal.
And a pick is in.
Pick is in?
For the Washington. Washington.
Washington. Memphis Grizzlies?
Memphis, yes.
Taking Jaylen Wells of, what is Houston Cougars?
Washington State. That's why I said Washington.
Washington State, okay.
So, 6'7". Nice length. Nice motor, nice size. Just looking at some tape on him, saying he's got some. Ooh, that's a nice range he's got right there. Nice little shooter he's got. But yeah, another guy who was also at the draft. I like the fact that these guys are now showing up to the second round because everything kind of means something. So, yeah, Will, your thoughts on Mr. Wells?
Yeah, 3-and-D forward, just under 21 years old, 6'6.5" without shoes.
That's tall.
Very much a 3-and-D guy. 41% from deep. Over half of his attempts came from beyond the arc, so a high volume, high percentage shooter.
I like him.
Rebounds it well. He's got good size. I think that's a really solid pickup. I thought he would be like, a staple around the 40th pick. And again, when you are drafting in the second round, when you are a team that kind of has your foundation already laid, you need shooting around them. You need defense around them. You've got Ja, you've got Bane, you've got Jaren. You bring in Edey. You've got guys now. Reggie Jackson really popped. Vince Williams, they've got a great young core, but like you need the floor spacing around them. And I think Wells can come in and just be a catch and shoot guy from day one.
Yeah, that works out well for them. I'm trying to the left hand, Luke Kennard. This is what I was thinking of the entire time you were talking, kind of in that mold.
Yep.
Obviously a little better defender than that, but yeah, just kind of in that mold of, that catch and shoot guy, because that's going to be important, especially when you're playing with a guy like John Morant, who's going to break down the defense and get to the paint, man. He's going to need those shooters around him.
The other thing I see here that I like in Goat's advanced stats spreadsheet here on Wells is a lot of those 3-and-D guys, for whatever reason, aren't great free throw shooters, despite the fact that they can knock down threes. 81.5% at the free throw line. Like that.
Yeah, he's productive. And just as we kind of move into the 40s here in the draft, I know the Bulls don't have a pick, but there's still some interesting guys left that I would be pretty intrigued with if the Bulls did trade in.
Ooh, talk to me, Leo.
Nikola Jurisic was a player, 6'7" wing who is like good at driving, good at passing, very raw, not a great shooter yet, but kind of fits into the Giddey mold that I think AK really likes, but great size, very smart player, good athlete, good feel. Couple more guys, Isaiah Crawford from Louisiana Tech. He was a little bit of an older player. He's almost 23, but just fills up the box score. 22, 8, 3 steals, 2 blocks per 75 possessions. He's somebody that I think can just kind of strikes me as a Thunder type player in the sense of what we talked about before, where he can just kind of do a little bit of everything offensively. Cam Christie, younger brother of Max Christie, swingman, shooter. I think he could be a good player. Justin Edwards from Kentucky, another 3-and-D guy. And then Adem Bona and Ulrich Chomchi, both some kind of older, Adem Bona is 21. He is a rim roller, long 7'4" wingspan, only 6'8", but he can really block shots and catch lobs. And then Chomchi is from the NBA Academy in Africa, and he's super youngest player in the draft, 18 and a half years old, 6'10", 7'4" wingspan, rebounds, block shots, very raw, but kind of an interesting upside play. So, and then of course Bronny James, who,
well, we know where he's going.
Undrafted.
Undrafted with the 55th pick.
That will not happen. That man will be drafted. Yes, it's going to go down.
And we have another pick in.
We do have another pick in, Joseph. Ooh,
he said ooh.
Knicks trading number 40 pick to the Phoenix Suns.
Knicks just, it's just my goodness.
Knicks need to chill out.
Yeah, man. They're just doing stuff. Like, hey, guys, we want to do stuff today. Let's do stuff. Everybody will be gooned up whoever they pick.
And it is another Marquette product.
It is.
Oso Ighodaro?
Yep.
Apologies if I butchered that name.
You did not. That
Sounds right.
Yeah. Better than what I would have done.
Traditional big, 22-year-old prospect, 6'9", 6'11", wingspan, 222. Got a decent vert at 39.5.
It's pretty good for a 6'11" guy to be jumping that high, for sure.
Yeah, he's kind of reminds me of Trace Jackson Davis from last year.
Okay.
The Warriors took. He puts up numbers, very good passer, very good passing hub. He's just going to make guys around him better. And I think actually the Warriors would be a good fit for him because he can just find guys cutting backdoor and split action. So I think if you're the Suns and you're hoping to have a little bit more ball movement, make the offense flow a little bit more easily, so you're not just giving the ball to Devin Booker or KD or Bradley Beal and just pounding it until you get something. You can maybe get it into the high elbow, run some actions off of him. I like this pick for them as a backup big, and they Drew Eubanks did not work out for them last year. Nurkic was injured a bunch. Yeah. They need somebody who can reliably fill in. I like this pick for them. He's going to be ready to play right away.
Do you like the Kevin Looney cop?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Okay.
And for the record, in this trade, the Suns sent the Knicks picks 51 and 56 to move up to 40 to get their guy from Marquette that they really wanted.
Okay.
So now Knicks have 51 and 56.
Okay. All right. We'll see if they.
So if they want Bronny James, they got to take him at 51 because the Lakers are right there at 55.
You think the Knicks would do something like that?
I would love it if they did.
I just saw a tweet from one of the aggregation accounts, so I don't know if it's real, but it was saying that Rich Paul is calling teams to tell them not to draft Bronny or he'll leave for Australia.
What? Oh, specific teams.
I love it.
He's just forcing his way to the Lakers. And I also saw a report earlier from Dave McMenamin saying that Anthony Davis was really impressed with Bronny. It's what are we doing
here? That's not a report.
What are we doing here?
That's just a LeBron leech of a reporter saying something that LeBron's sidekick said about LeBron's son.
That's so wild.
I do not qualify that as reporting.
Just doing it right in front of our faces. It's so wild, man. Some wild times in the NBA. But they're going to get what they want to get.
Remember when Dave McMenamin scoffed at the idea of the Lakers losing to the Nuggets in the playoffs last year? You're telling me they're going to get there and then lose to Denver? Good call, Dave McMenamin.
Good call.
Good call. It's devastating to my case.
Oh, man. This is what it was, Will, when you left. It was like the adult actually leaving, you know what I'm saying, and going away. And then you just left the children to do stuff, and me and Matt just drove that thing right off the
road. Charlie in the comments.
Doesn't have it any other way.
It was so much fun.
Saying, I've been saying, if you draft Bronny and you're not the Lakers, all you're going to do is just piss off Rich Paul. I didn't really think about that element to the whole Bronny James saga.
It's a whole family.
If he's just trying to force his way to L.A., and then some other team that's not the Lakers, is Rich Paul petty enough to be like, I'm not going to deal with you. My star client is not going to go play for you because you messed up my plan of putting LeBron and Bronny Jr. together.
I think it goes deeper than that because, look, I mean, Rich Paul is not like pulling the strings with teams, but like he has very strong clientele.
He does.
Teams want the players that are on his like that he represents, and he has the power to say like, I don't want to go here. I'm not going to set up a meeting in free agency with this guy for you. If you do this, that, hurts my other client. And I think he's really played that. And so that's why I think he's got the power to be able to like pull strings in this way. He does it like louder than some of the other agencies. Like you hear about it more with him, but I like that is a position of power that he definitely plays into.
Flex Diggs in the comments going where my mind also went next, which is Rich Paul, why don't you get a deal drummed up for Zach LaVine, you clown? I don't know if the you clown part is warranted. He's a very successful agent / businessman / freaking mogul.
Very successful.
Yeah, what are you doing, Flex Diggs? I'm, all love. But that is I was like, okay, well, the Bulls have themselves a Rich Paul client whom the Bulls are trying to trade.
Well, he can't make other teams want his guys if they don't want him.
Can't he, though?
But he can. Right. But he can say, my guy's not going to go play for you, even if you want him.
So you can make your guys not play for them, but you can't make them want your guys.
You can't make them force somebody. You can't force somebody to say, all right, fine, we'll take Zach LaVine because you want us to. But he can say,
I don't know.
I'm not gonna like give you my free agent in the future if you do this thing that's gonna piss me off.
I don't know. We all watch Entourage a lot. I don't know. Already goes. Of course, a lot of people do stuff.
Gary Rappaporter, who I trust as much as I trust Woj or Shem, says that Bob Myers is on ESPN corroborating that Rich Paul Bronny report, and that is fully a real thing.
Really? Wow. That's hilarious. Yeah, Gary in the comments just said Myers spoke on it on ESPN. Wild.
Lars just said something that I haven't thought of in a very long time.
I read that too.
Speaking of UDFAs.
Undrafted free agents.
Yes. Is Justin Lewis still alive? Hope he is good, but bro has been hurt.
To my knowledge, yes, he is still with us. Mm-hmm. But with us meaning he is alive and breathing oxygen on planet Earth. He is not with us with the Bulls.
Yes.
If I recall, go and confirm this if you can, they let him go to bring in Batum towards the end of the last season, right?
Yep. And then he went to play for the Windy City Bulls, I believe, and then for the Salt Lake G League team.
Oh, my squad.
So he played.
That's your squad.
He played 29 games for them last year, 14 minutes per game, 5 points. So, I think they were just ready to move on from him.
That's tough, man.
And with another pick is in here.
I do believe we have our next pick in, and this one, by the way, is the one that used to be the Bulls before the Lonzo sign and trade.
Okay. Let's do this then. Let's do stuff.
Who do we have? Sixers taking Adem Bona at 41.
That would have been a great pick for the Bulls.
Really?
How
yeah,
so?
He's athletic, big. He can run. He can jump. He can block shots. Just kind of a dynamic player who really popped at the combine. 40-inch vertical, 7'3", 0.75 wingspan. Put up big numbers.
6'3" with a 6'8" with a 7'5" wingspan.
7'3",
7'3". So yeah,
7'3" and 3/4 wingspan.
Jesus Christ!
I want that.
He's like a versatile, switchable lob catcher. 21, 10, 2 steals, 3 blocks per 75 possessions at UCLA.
That's impressive.
And that could have been the Bulls' pick.
That's impressive, man.
Y'all want to hear something spooky?
Ooh.
So he just went. Adem Bona just went to Philadelphia at 41.
Okay.
You know where Goat had him on his board?
Tell me.
41.
Goat.
This man's a genius.
What he does, he makes you smart.
We have another pick in. Charlotte Hornets wasting no time, Joe. KJ Simpson from Colorado. Shout out to our DNVR crew. I'm sure the Buffs fans are happy about this.
Yeah.
Their guy gets drafted to the Charlotte Hornets. The 6-foot guard What can you tell us about him, Goat?
He was another guy that really looked great at the combine. A smaller guard, but he can score. He can facilitate. As we talked about on our show, 6 feet tall, 6'4.5" wingspan, 40.5-inch vertical, 24.6 assists, 7 rebounds per 75 possessions.
That's a player.
He's a little bit older, 22 years old, but he can really facilitate. He can shoot it 43%. He can score. He can get downhill. He's a little bit smaller, but I think he kind of reminds you of like
Dillingham?
Marcus Sasser a little bit from last
okay.
year. A little bit of an older guard who can really kind of command the game, score, get downhill. I think he's going to be like a good backup point guard behind LaMelo Ball and somebody that can probably step in and start you some games if Melo gets hurt.
Yeah, he was good, man. I mean, he was Pac-12 all freshman team.
Prolific college player.
Yeah, when we had Jake on the show, Flex, we had Jake from the DMVR Buffs on the show. He raved about him. He loved Tristan Da Silva, and he loved KJ Sampson. He spoke very highly just about the character of those two guys. He really liked and enjoyed them, but he thought they were real dogs and real good ball players as well.
Clutch gene too. He was great in the Buffs play-in game to get into the tournament, and then he had 23 and the game winner with 1.7 left in the first round.
Oh, shoot. I think I remember that.
Push Colorado over Florida.
Right,
in the first round. So he had a great tournament, short-lived, but he was good.
He was good.
Garson in the comments saying Isaac Okoro 2.0.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
He's got a lot more offensive skill than Okoro. And he's a lot less size.
I feel like he might be talking about someone else.
Maybe. Robert in the comments asking, do you think the Bulls are going to make a move here in the second round?
I don't.
They still have some time. We're at pick 40. That was just pick 42 by the Hornets.
This is
on
the area
clock,
where
43.
Like, these picks start to get a little bit less expensive. I feel like the 30s are obviously they're second round picks, but they are good second round picks. Now you're in the 40s, a little bit less valuable, but as we talked about, still some players that I think are really good on the board. Cam Christie is a guy, a shooter, who I mentioned, Isaiah Crawford, Nikola Jurisic, guys that I thought were going to go a little bit higher, that I think have some really interesting upside that could, I think, be kind of, back end of rotation building blocks that you move forward with. As we've talked about before, Bulls need to just keep bringing in young talent. Yeah. Need to keep just taking swings on guys. Yep. And those are a couple that I think could be really good if they hit.
I'm interested to see who the Bulls are going to sign, who doesn't get drafted. I think because that's going to be filling out,
like
the summer league
training
roster.
Camp squad, summer league
that's
squad.
That's going to fill out that summer league roster because I'm only interested because I know we'll be there watching those guys and seeing how they perform. So I'm curious to that as well.
Did you say I'm only interested because I know we're going to be at summer league?
I didn't say we're only because
I think I heard the word
said
only.
I'm because we'll be there.
Okay.
That's what I said. So
I got
No.
Speaking of which, though, like
what's Javon Freeman Liberty up to? Because I miss him.
This summer league team is going to be really like a lot more exciting than the last couple ones we've watched.
Okay.
Matas Buzelis is going to play.
You think Buzelis is going to play?
I would imagine he'll play.
He's playing.
I would imagine Julian Phillips is still there. Like Dalen could play again.
I don't think Dalen's going to play.
I feel like he might.
Think so?
I feel like he should.
There's no rule that says it's only guys who just got drafted and players who were rookies last season. You can just go and.
It's rare that players play in their third year, but like what you want to see is those guys absolutely dominate.
I mean,
I play one game.
I want to see Dalen put up a stat line of like 20 points, 7 boards, 8 assists, and 8 turnovers.
Maybe
that'll be fun.
He did that last year.
That's what I'm saying.
All the time.
Maybe Sanogo plays.
Sanogo's playing. He's playing.
I think they'll be. But even just having like a kind of a high profile draft pick in the first round near the top 10, like it's gonna be a lot more exciting to really hone in on Matas there.
No, I completely agree. All eyes will definitely be on him and how he plays in the game he does out there, just backing up the stuff. And I want to add this too, because I don't remember which one of you said this yesterday, that he has the confidence of J.R. Smith. But then I did listen to Casey Johnson say.
Oh, I said Dion Waiters.
Somebody said
J.R. Smith.
One of y'all said
Ricky might have said that.
Okay.
Yes, Ricky said that.
Ricky said J.R. Smith. And then Casey Johnson, while he's asked some questions, found out one of the NBA players he most admires is J.R. Smith.
Oh.
He asked him about it. He said he's a hooper. He was like, he's one of the guys he just grew up admiring and liking. He just thought he really liked his game. And I'm like, yeah, you liked how he played. You like how he talked. You like all of that. And I see it, sir. And I thought that was awesome. Thank you, Casey Johnson for asking that question. That was awesome.
Charlie mentioned, and he was asked about JR in his post-draft interview. J.R. Smith.
J.R. Smith, shout out.
Wow.
Shout out to him. So
I am looking forward to watching Buzelis play in Summer League. See what he does.
I'm very much excited to see it, man. Just watch that up close. While you were going, man, we were asking the question about AK's press conference when he brought the injuries, the guys who've been injured.
Right.
We brought up how he brought up Lonzo Ball and basically said he's cleared, to continue participating in basketball activities. Just want to know your opinion on that and how you felt him saying it, because it's been 2 years since we've heard something like that about Lonzo Ball. It's been a minute.
I'm okay, cool. Okay, cool. Let's see. I think Goat, you had a quote in there from AK about Lonzo in your write-up from earlier. Cleared to do pretty much everything on the floor, he said. Quote, we'll continue to strengthen him in the next 2 months. We'll see what he's going to look like. Optimism he's going to play this, assuming things progress well into the fall. I'll see it when I see it. I'm not and I'm not saying that to be dismissive and emotionally cold to Lonzo, who has gone through hell with this rehab process several times over. I don't want it to come across that way. I'm just like a jilted Bulls fan who's sick of it. I'm sick of this shit.
Sick of a man's injury.
Go. You made a joke when you were chatting with the All-City NBA guys, Mares and Legler, the other day about Lonzo.
I made it on here, too.
He did.
Oh, you did?
He brought that back, baby.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Remix.
Lonzo Ball has not played an NBA game since before CHGO as an entity existed. Mm-hmm. So there's that. Mm-hmm. I wish him well. I hope he comes back.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the Bulls not stretching and waiving him. Just get it over with. Get it over. Get the last year of Lonzo's contract done this upcoming season, and then move on. I hope his career continues, but I am done.
Yeah, I was very happy to hear that. Just again, like I said, I hadn't heard it for 2 years that this dude is cleared to participate in all basketball activities. So I just great for him, just for his life and anything like that. But it's also great just for his basketball life too. So it was a great thing. And the other side of that, Matt, where you can continue to pounce, was Patrick Williams and the things we heard about him. Basically, he's alive.
Quote, still on his way to recovery.
Yes. Sir.
The F does that mean?
Please continue. So, because that was alarming to me to hear no progress on Patrick Williams. Just saying he's still on his way to recovery, it didn't bode well for me.
He was planning to be ready for training camp.
Yeah.
Was planning to be ready for training camp?
He just saying he's planning to be ready.
Okay. Okay. That's just AK not being very articulate. That's fine. Well, I mean, that makes the Patrick Williams contract situation this summer all the scarier.
Yes, very much so. Very much so, man. That part right there. Because you can't make that decision without knowing where he is.
Ooh,
that's crazy.
We got a pick here, Joe.
Trade and a pick.
Ooh,
and
double duty.
Atlanta and Miami swapping 43 and 44.
Correct.
According to Woj.
And Miami is taking Nikola Durasic at 43. And they move back.
I think Atlanta's taking him.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Or Miami traded him to Atlanta.
Miami traded him to
cash.
Atlanta to move back one spot. Yes. And then we'll have
Miami
Miami
is picking
pick here.
Pell Larson.
Yep.
At 44.
My God.
Okay, so Miami moved from 43 back to 44. Gotcha. And are taking Pell Larson at 44. So wait, so who did Atlanta take at 43?
Jurisic.
Okay. Gotcha.
So there's Pell Larson.
That face.
That picture of Larson clearly just got whistled for a foul.
Right. Yeah,
in the moment that photo was snapped.
Somebody hit a three because look at the ref in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody hit a three.
Oh.
He probably hit the three.
I don't know. Not that face.
Look, he's backpedaling back.
That face don't say I'm the man. That face don't say something good happened. That face says, God damn.
Maybe it's a 4-point play.
Oh. It could be. Maybe Johnny Furphy took his lady.
Any tickling or enticing thoughts on either of these guys who just went off the board at 43 and 44, Will?
I was excited about Jurisic. I feel like he, just like the feel, the passing, the IQ, the driving, his jump shot is a work in progress, but He was like a upside flyer that I was excited about. So he'll go to Atlanta. They made a move today to clear out AJ Griffin and actually pick up this pick. So that's what cleared the space for that. And, he's just going to be a very raw prospect, but I just like the tools. And I like players like that who are thinking the game and who are creative passers. So like I said earlier, he kind of reminds you of Giddey in some ways, but I think he's a little bit more potentially dynamic with the ball in his hands. And, he's going to be kind of buried in that Hawks rotation, assuming they don't make any major changes here. But that was a guy who I thought somebody would be interested in him.
Yeah, you had him all the way up at 33 on your board. So maybe a steal value here for Atlanta.
Yeah, I think so. I think he has a chance to be good.
All right, we'll see how it goes.
And generic, tall-looking white guy that goes to Miami?
My favorite. Gotta love it.
Let's see. Where did you have it? You had Pell Larson all the way down at 56 on your board. The Arizona wing. 23 and a half years old.
Yeah, he's just old. He wasn't like super productive.
Take her house. She's too old.
Like, 6'5.5", 6'7.5" wingspan. He's gonna be a 3-and-D guy, but and he did shoot it well, 42.5% on decent volume. I just don't see a lot of upside in his game. He's older. He can shoot it. Second round pick, that's fine, but not somebody I would have wanted to take to me, as I just talked about with Jurisic, I'm much more interested in flyers on upside, and he did not at all represent that to me.
Were those all of the various injury updates?
Yeah,
and then Zach being fully cleared.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Ahead of schedule.
Shout it from the rooftops.
Yeah.
Zach LaVine is fully cleared to play after his foot surgery.
Ahead of schedule is what he is. So, yeah.
I saw our guys Garcon in the comments a little bit ago saying, AK's not going to get into the second round. I can't believe it. I honestly was coming into today being like, hey, if they don't get into the second round, they don't get into the second round. I don't care.
That means that they didn't use any future draft capital.
Correct. Correct.
And priority now, 1A, find a trade for Zach.
Priority now.
That has to be the priority right now.
I agree.
I don't give a crap about second round picks because we don't have one, and that's fine. For now, that's fine. Bigger fish to fry if you're AK and Eversley right now.
That's right.
Pick up the damn phone and not about picks 45 to 60.
No. I know they love the second round, but no. I'll be completely happy with they don't do anything in this and just lay back. So
yeah.
And get ready for the summer league. That's all they're going to do.
That's another quote that I did want to touch on at some point, and while we're waiting for the next pick to be in, we can do it now.
Sure.
AK talking about a couple of moves over the last week. First, the Giddey and for Caruso trade, and then taking Buzelis last night. He said, quote, "I take my role of reshaping this team very seriously, and tonight was an important step in that direction. As I've said, everything is on the table. I want fans to know we are committed to the process of building a team for long-term success. We've made some initial changes this offseason, and now our focus shifts on Friday to free agency." End quote. He could have said free agency and trades. I'm not going to nitpick on that because I think it was implied.
Okay.
Dude, the Bulls can't sign any free agents.
Right.
They're strapped. They need to solve the problem in front of them, and their problem is finding a new home for Zach LaVine and or DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
Well, I think what he meant by free agency was once other players from other teams start to sign, that's going to potentially open up some opportunities for me to offload DeRozan and or LaVine. And
right.
We are coming up on the deadline for an extension
30th.
with DeRozan. That's the 30th. I believe the player option deadline for Torrey Craig is tomorrow or maybe Saturday.
Didn't he already decline it? Or there was a report that he plans to decline it?
There was no, that was a speculation.
Okay.
AK last night said he was not sure yet. He had not yet been informed.
Sure did.
But yeah, I mean, and maybe we just talk about this more tomorrow and spend the full show talking about it. But I think AK's tenor and the takeaway that I had from the way that he was talking about it, he wasn't going to come out and say, we're having a fire sale, we're starting over. But I mean, the way he talked about DeRozan was it's an option.
Well, and the way he was talking about it being different from, we want him back.
Which is what they had been saying all along. So things are changing. He kept on emphasizing youth and upside and long-term. That is a far, far cry from what they had been talking about over the last couple of years. So even though, I asked him about the top 10 protected pick that they've got going out next year, and he said that wasn't going to impact their plan. But I think you kind of have to say that, and you kind of have to continue to focus on and read between the lines of what he's actually saying, which is that we're prioritizing youth and long-term.
Between the lines, man. We got a pick, Joe.
This is Jamal Shed to the Toronto Raptors.
He can play.
I like him a lot.
Houston.
He can go, man.
He's an absolute dog.
Yes, he is.
He was really the engine for Houston all year long, and they were top four team in the country for most of the year.
He
a little undersized, but he is really a dog. Takes some bad shots, but bulldog defender. Like, I think he could stick around in the league just because of that on-ball defense and some of the tenacity.
Definitely one of the leaders of that defense, man, that was locking cats up, and very fiery. I like the Patrick Beverly comp, but very fiery, individual, man, but took his job very, very seriously. He meant it when he was out there on the floor.
I mean, 9.5 assists per 75 possessions, according to GOAT's advanced stat board for those diehards out there.
Yeah, I like
only prospect in this entire draft class to have a better assist per 75 is the Marquette kid, Tyler Kolek, who just went earlier in today's second round.
The Knicks.
And we've got another pick in following that.
Hey-o.
From the Clippers.
The Clippers got a pick in. The Clippers got a pick
What does Donald Sterling think? Wait, just kidding.
I don't care.
He's gone.
Cam Christie, younger brother of Max Christie, who plays for the Lakers.
Okay.
Cam Christie is going to the Clippers.
Yes.
So swingman, very slender. It looks exactly like Max Christie.
I was going to say, holy moly.
He is slender.
But he can shoot it. And they need to get younger too. I mean, they're so expensive right now. They've got to figure out what's going on with Paul George. They lock in Kawhi, but you've got to bring in younger contributors that can be on that second round exception, making $1 million a year and fill out the roster that way. So I had him a little bit higher. I think like around 35 on my board. I think he can really play.
37.
He can really shoot it, and I think he'll just provide some good floor spacing for them and hopefully a little bit of upside as well.
Okay, we are moving through 47. Who's on the clock at 47? Orlando. Meanwhile, we have shout out super chat Robert Kranis,
shout out
$4.99, saying Sacramento sent out $14 million in that trade today. Davion Mitchell traded today. Only get $5 million back worth of salary. This is the time to get a deal done. Send Zach there.
Galaxy brain.
You had the same thought when that trade went down, and you did some quick math and figured out that is a trade that would facilitate the Kings to bring in Zach's contract in a way that would not have previously worked before that trade.
Yep. If they were to trade Herter and Barnes for Zach now, they'd be $2.5 million under the tax, which is where they want to be.
Nice and tidy.
I don't it's not really our problem to figure out how Zach LaVine fits on another team.
No.
But I don't really get that. You just bring back Malik Monk. Mm-hmm. You've got De'Aaron Fox in the backcourt. You just draft Devin Carter. I don't know. I kind of like what they have, and I don't really feel like Zach is a great fit there now. It would have made a lot more sense if you lose Malik Monk. Maybe they still want to do it to just add another dynamic playmaker. You get Fox, you got Monk, you got Sabonis, you got Keegan Murray in there. This is kind of like their time to strike before they have to pay Keegan Murray. Yeah. So I get it from that perspective. And again, it's not like our decision to make for the Kings,
right?
But that is definitely a team that has been linked to Zach. People have said both that after Monk, they were out. They've also said that after Monk, they were still potentially in. And as Matt Moore reported today, now Caruso's off the table. They can't ask for Caruso in this deal.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe LaVine is a fit there. I don't know what they're going to do at power forward now if they trade Harrison Barnes. But
it is interesting though that for all of the teams that Zach has been attached to in various trade rumors over the last 2 years, Utah briefly, Philadelphia still kind of maybe in the mix, but only if they don't get their first or even second option in free agency or potential sign-in trades or trades elsewhere this offseason. Detroit Pistons leading up to the deadline. There was a lot of chatter there. There have been these teams that come and go in these Zach LaVine trade rumors. It seems that the Kings are always there. They are that one team that is always brought up when it's Zach LaVine talk time.
Yeah, and I mean from the beginning, because we mentioned even before when they signed his first contract, here with him. They were the ones trying to get him then. So it could be still, their minds could still kind of be there at something we missed out on, and we just want to be better at it and having this player. But you even mentioned, like, even having all those guys, Will, they still weren't, good enough, you know what I'm saying, to do anything or make any true noise in the playoffs or in the Western Conference, period. So it could be a situation, you're right, where they're stockpiling talent and just getting a guy, because I don't know how many guys outside of De'Aaron Fox, and maybe you can argue Keegan Murray, but I don't know how many have that kind of talent and skill set that Zach LaVine has. So he will move some people out of the way, and some guys will just fall into different roles if you're going to get a player that can get you 25, 5, and 5, and can score 50, you know what I'm saying, for you. So he's that kind of skill and talent. Putting that next to a guy like De'Aaron Fox and even putting a Keegan Murray with him, that's super formidable. Even if you're going to play it with Malik Monk, that's still a formidable team, because who you going to stop? Who you going to defend on that one? All three of those guys can drive the ball to the bucket and get points, and hopefully there'll be some shooters on the outside to spread out that'll help them out in that kind of way. So, I can see how Zach could fit on that. You're right. It's a tight fit, but I can see how he could fit on that team, because they need stars. They need talent on that team if they're going to do anything in the West.
I like that.
I think it makes sense, too, to have Malik Monk come off the bench. Maybe you start Devin Carter alongside Fox and LaVine. You got Keegan at the 4, Sabonis at the 5. When they were really good, they were good because their offense was elite.
Sure.
So they're not trying to be like defensive stoppers. I think bringing in Devin Carter to be that like version of what they hope to get out of Davion Mitchell, ball stopper. They're never going to be an elite defensive team, so they have to outscore you. And sure. I think Zach obviously helps them there. So I'm not saying I hate it, and I agree. Like, the other thing is with Zach, I mean, if you were a team right now that could trade for a max player, that had the space or the trade chips to be able to make that happen, would you rather give the Pelicans like Herter and Barnes and a pick to go get Brandon Ingram and then have to pay him a 5-year max, which is more than what Zach's going to be making? Or would you take a flyer on Zach, who's only got 3 years?
Right.
Like, his contract is going to not be quite as bad just by virtue of it getting shorter and other guys signing bigger deals.
Correct.
The cap is going up by 10% every year. That means that his money is going to take up a smaller portion of the cap each year. So as much as the Bulls need to move on, and as much as, like, time is of the essence here, like, let's get this done, I think also if they aren't forcing themselves into trading him in order to bring back DeMar, that opens the door up for them to not get completely bowled over in negotiations, which has been a problem in the past. And I think that opens up the potential for them to at least get off of him without having to take back a bunch of bad salary or without having to attach picks in order to do it.
Fish suggesting maybe a P-Will sign and trade with Zach to the Kings. Garcon saying, Monk, come off the bench. You absolutely add another key guy if you can. I like all this positivity. We got another pick in. Who we got? We got Pelicans.
This is Antonio Reeves to the Pelicans.
Who got the pick from Orlando.
Correct.
At 47.
Good offensive player. They ran a lot. Interesting to me, even with Dillingham and Reed Shepherd, Kentucky ran a lot of like their off-ball actions for Antonio Reeves to come off of screens and shoot.
That's true.
It's sort of interesting. He was sort of a primary option even ahead of those guys in a way.
Yeah, he's a big-time scorer, actually, from Chicago, went to Simeon.
Hey-oh.
But he's a little bit older. I think he's 23 years old, played 3 years at Illinois State and then 2 years at Kentucky. He's a big-time scorer. I thought he played well at the Combine, but just like an older prospect and, not someone that I thought was going to go in the second round, but obviously they're taking a flyer on him here, and I think
consensus mock drafts had him right around 49.
Yep. So solid pick.
Magic trading 47 to the Pelicans for 2 future pick swaps in 2030 and 2031, according to Woj.
Taking it back to Zach LaVine for a second.
Yep,
my friend Nez just texted me something hilarious, so I wanted to say this on the show.
Nice haircut, Joey.
He said, AK will be in my good graces if he trades back into the second round, drafts Bronny, and then packages him in a deal with LaVine to the Lakers.
Now there's an idea. That's using your noggin.
Yeah.
Rich Paul wants to hold Bronny hostage. Let's play
Let's
hardball
literally
with
hold
him.
him hostage.
Let's hold him hostage. You can have Bronny if you take Zach LaVine.
All kinds of ideas
of him.
on what to do with Zach LaVine in the comments. Bobby saying, just keep Zach, push him back to that all-star level again. Claudio, meanwhile, saying, in an ideal world, we could bring Zach off the bench with the second unit, build a second unit around the bench. Zach. Who do you think Zach LaVine is?
You saw what happened when Zach came off the bench.
Zach's still mad about coming on about getting onto the bench in the fourth quarter again.
Yeah.
Billy Donovan benched him towards the end of a game one time, and in that game, Zach was 1 of 15 from the field.
He was terrible.
And he's still salty about it to this day.
I remember him coming off the bench. You ever watch a player pout in their game?
There's been some talk over the last few days about how, hey, maybe the relationship is repairable between Zach and the Bulls, and hey, he and Buzelis make a nice fit together. I mean, he and Giddey make a nice fit together.
It's done.
I know why that those things were written and said.
Yeah,
but come on.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard enough to sell Zach on sticking around to try to up his trade value and convince him to do that in a Bulls jersey until the next season's trade deadline.
Yeah,
bring him off the bench.
He ain't doing that.
He will Ben Simmons himself.
Yes, he. Ouch! Ouch! Ouch!
That's a ludicrous idea.
Oh,
but thank you for suggesting it.
My thigh. Something's gonna hurt on him for sure. Like something's gonna hurt on Zach. There's no way he's doing that for the Chicago Bulls. If he'll be here, it will definitely be in the starting role. And if it's gonna be on a bad team, it's gonna be Zach getting a ton of shots as well, man. So no, it's okay. The time has passed. It's run its course. It's all right. Zach, wish you the best of luck.
Zach.
Let's find him a trade partner.
Man, if Zach is still in a Bulls jersey come October, he's going friggin' Blakeney. He's engaging Blakeney mode.
Tap it in.
Jordan Poole Wizards mode.
He's got 40 shots in the first half. Man, and hit 15.
Oh, mother of God.
It's going up. Shout out to him, man.
All righty. So we are at 48 with San Antone via Lakers and Grizzlies on the clock.
Shout out to San Antone.
Good old San Antonio.
Never been there.
You've never been there?
Never been to San Antonio.
Once or twice when I was a much younger fella.
Once or twice. Okay.
Probably fewer times than Charles Barkley, who has to go there for work sometimes and doesn't want to.
Been to the Riverwalk?
Yeah.
Is it something to talk about?
It's a Riverwalk.
Okay. All right. It's a thing. It's a thing that happened and a thing that went down. So there you go. Shout out.
Oh, man.
Do you think I need to go there?
No.
Okay.
You don't need to go anywhere, Dave.
Well, fair point, Matt.
Other than, like, work.
I understand that. Well, that's because you want me to see you.
And, yeah, wherever I am when I ask you to hang out with me.
I understand where your mind is at, sir. I get it. I get your real excellent.
You still owe me a rooftop hang.
I know. I put it in writing, sir.
Okay, good.
Man of my word. Landon pays his debts.
How are we doing on time, Joe? I know we got a Cubs postgame creeping up on us.
We're good for now.
We're good for now. All righty. Oh, and speaking of them San Antones, they have a pick in at number 48, Joe.
Pick in at number 48. Hit the music.
Tar Heel Harrison Ingram going to San Antonio at pick 48.
Okay.
Let's see where he was projected in consensus mocks. Scrolling.
Going on.
He was projected 40 or consensus mock 45, so right in the wheelhouse.
21 years old. Looks to be, guy that can get up a little bit as far as his defense is concerned, can block some shots. At 6'5", I mean, that's never a problem. Not a fluid guy from what I'm reading right here. But they say a limited vertical, lack of, fluidity in his movement. But his ceiling as a player is capped by his body. They say that is his limitations for it. So awesome ball player is what they said. Much easier to defend than he should be.
That's not a good scouting report tidbit.
But again, this is second round.
Yeah.
We're talking about here. So they understand the project that he is. And yeah, we'll see what he
Goat
does.
had him at 50 on his board.
There it is.
35-inch vert. So, I mean, not terrible. Not terrible.
No,
but
Reed Shepherd.
Also, I am guessing this is a typo because, Goat, your combine stats have Harrison Ingram's wingspan listed at 8 feet, 2.5 inches.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say that's probably a typo.
I got really excited for half a second. I'm like, wait, no, that's like impossible.
I mean, for him to have the blocking the shots he does.
Yeah, but no, I mean, but like, what's Mo Bamba's wingspan? Isn't it like 7'10" or something?
Yes, it's up there.
Which is, like one of the craziest, most gigantic wingspans we've ever seen.
Very true.
So that would be another half a foot longer than Mo Bamba's wingspan on a dude who's 6'6".
It could happen.
That would be bonkers.
Okay. Joey, what's your wingspan? You know? Okay, we're gonna find out. I'd like to know what Joey's fast wingspan.
Yeah, we should have done combine measurements.
Yeah, you think so?
Probably
do
not.
it next year.
Did you guys see DNVR Nuggets draft video?
What?
The
They had like a whole draft night video, like about them being drafted to DNVR.
I have not seen that.
It was pretty good.
Okay.
It was clever.
We got a Woj bomb here.
Oh,
For second round action. Denver trading Reggie Jackson to Charlotte for 3 unprotected second round picks.
Reggie Jackson could get you 3 second rounders.
They got to be putting a first into that or something, because that you're salary dumping Reggie Jackson at that point.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so you're getting unprotected second round picks back. There's got to be another asset going to the Hornets in this.
I mean, maybe they're selling low on Reggie Jackson. He did not have a great closing to his playoff performance for Denver.
He didn't.
In that Minnesota series,
Yeah.
he struggled.
I mean, they signed him at $5 million in order to attach him to something else in a trade.
Right.
Okay.
And they weren't able to find one for him.
So yeah, it was a
So,
2-year deal for $10.25 million. So he had $5 million this past season. Next season, he's on their books for $5.25. Yeah, that would basically just be a salary dump.
And they signed Jamal Murray to a max extension today. They're
Yep.
trying to clear out some space.
Contavious Caldwell-Pope also. Wait, what did I see?
He
There was a
opted
report
out.
on him. Opted out. Okay, he's looking for
He's looking for 2
a
years,
new
$50
big
million.
payday over multiple years.
Wait, what? He's looking for what?
2 years, $50 million, I think.
What?
Woj clarifying that they are 3 unprotected second round picks, but still no other details as far as other pieces that could be involved in that Reggie Jackson trade.
More unprotected second round picks than the Bulls got for Caruso.
Yes, Will. Yes.
This is
It's
outrageous.
Reggie Jackson.
It's Reggie
outrageous.
Jackson. Yes, it's a Reggie Jackson.
And now the Bulls fans were I would rather have Giddey than picks. He's good. He's young.
Not the point.
That's not the point.
That's not the point.
For the love of God, that's not the point.
God, it's
not
not
both?
the point.
Why not?
Both. You walk away with both in this instance. That's what you do. You don't walk away with just one or the other. You walk away with both. That's not the argument, man. Take Josh Giddey, fine. But you take the picks too. When you put that on the table, you say you give me a second round pick. I don't care when, but you give me a second round pick. Why? Because you got them. And a ton of them. That's why you give them away. Come on, man. No, we ain't going to stop yelling.
PICKS. Why? Because I gotta.
Got to, mister.
Get you, mister.
If it was just Reggie Jackson for 3 second round
I'll
picks, that
stay.
is an absolute steal for Denver. No other information seems to be coming in, although we do have another pick.
We got a pick, Joe.
At 48. No, sorry, 49.
49.
I don't have this one. Oh, here we go. Hold on.
He's got that pick
Whoop,
at
whoop.
49.
I believe the Pacers are on the clock with back-to-back picks.
At 49, the Pacers selecting Tristan Newton.
Ooh.
National champion Tristan Newton, and I believe the most outstanding player of the Final Four. Is that correct, Goat?
I'm not sure.
He
But point guard
is
for
very
UConn,
talented.
very talented.
You have his player type as floor general.
Yeah, he's a 4-year college player, as Joey said, 2-time national champion.
Yeah, MOP in the 2024 tournament.
MOP.
Kusi Award also in 2024.
6 assists per game. He's just he organizes, and I think the Pacers, they need a backup point guard. Nembhard played a lot of 2 this year. I think he can play some of that, but kind of a third string depth point guard. I think that's the solid pick. He's an older player, 23 years old, a little bit smaller, 6'3" and a quarter.
Okay.
But put up big numbers, 29 and 8.5
Those are
per
big
75
numbers.
possessions.
Those are definitely big numbers for a college player for sure.
And yes, you were correct. The Pacers have back-to-back picks here, so that was 49. Pacers on the clock again.
I wonder if they trade this one
at 50. This pick originally came to them from the New Orleans Pelicans. I have not seen any tweets from Rose Shams or anyone else about them maybe trading this pick at 50. Perhaps they are ready to use it. Maybe.
We'll see if they are, man. That would be very interesting.
What else do we got here?
If they'll be able to.
Oh, meanwhile, our guy Gary Ross just tagged us in this thing he was talking about earlier today on Twitter. Kyle Filipowski. You guys hear this crazy story about Filipowski?
No.
Yeah.
His brother and his mom on here, I assume you mean Twitter, revealing how his girlfriend groomed him into Mormon culture and cut him off from his family. Yikes. That's
Groom him into Mormon culture and then cut him off from his family.
That's almost worse than getting catfished.
It's almost worse than going to Duke.
He's not even a BYU player. What's going on here?
Right.
Well, now he's a Jazz player.
Hey.
That's true. That's true.
Yaz flute?
It honestly sounds really sad. I don't obviously know the details, but
yeah,
somebody needs to get that kid out of that cult before he tries to build himself an NBA career. Flipside threw us a $9.99 super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. JR from GR saying shout out to Matt, Big Dave, Will, and Joey for last night's event. Great time. Met and hung out with Matt's bro, Dave Beck. Anonymous. Funny guy. That's one way to put it. Met other fans and got some free swag. See you all at the next one. Love you, JR. Appreciate you, buddy. Making that trek to Chicago for all of our CHGO events.
Yeah, man.
A true diehard.
Shout out to him, man. No, it was definitely a fun time. It had a great time. You missed Joey almost snapping off. That was hilarious to see Joey get angry and mad at people. Man.
Angry Joe.
And he was right. He wasn't wrong, at all.
It's always obviously really cool to do those like on location and see people come hang out. I think a lot of people showed up as I was leaving to go do media. But it's also just like a different dynamic for us because normally we're in our set. It's like there's no variables. We're in a restaurant.
Joey has to deal
there's
with the
people there.
Yeah.
I think Joey takes the brunt of that.
He had to deal with the variables for sure, without a doubt.
DJ Cabiz won in the comments. DJ Cabiz saying crying about not getting a worthless second rounder for Caruso with Giddey is just petty. First of all, DJ,
Worthless.
Do you see anyone up here crying? Second of all, is Julian Phillips worthless? Is Nikola Jokic worthless?
We have an update to the trade that we just discussed, which is making a lot more sense.
Okay.
Woj tweets, Denver is trading Reggie Jackson to Charlotte with 3 unprotected second-round picks. They are salary dumping Reggie Jackson onto the Hornets and giving them 3 second-round picks for the price of doing business. That makes a lot more sense.
Okay. Bontemps quote tweeted that Woj tweet with a bit more clarity, saying Denver, which is bumping up against the second apron and still has KCP out there as a pending free agent, gets significant savings moving off of Jackson's $5.25 million salary for next season.
I wonder, do they look to shop Michael Porter Jr. at some point?
That's a great question.
Because he's making over $35 million. You've got Gordon, Murray, and Jokic. That's your core.
That's it.
You can find a lot of size and shooting. I mean, it's obviously not just everywhere for you to it's not grown on trees, but that's, I think, the easiest thing for them to be able to replicate at a lower price point. And so I wonder if they might trade him for Kuzma and a pick or something in order to get just a little bit lower money so that they can still have a lot of size, still have a lot of shooting, but that allows you to bring back KCP and maybe a backup point guard as well.
But Will, you need a more consistent shooter in that playoffs right there. I can point to a couple games that I'm like, well, if Michael Porter Jr. shoots better, they win this game.
Yeah.
And they're predicated on, that's a very structured and how they run it. It looks like it's chaos, but it's some organized chaos when they're running their offense. So when that ball gets to you and you're that wide open and you're clanging them, it just really reminded me of Harrison Barnes. And you can't do that. You know what I mean? You have to be consistent in your shot if you're going to be playing that role for the Denver Nuggets. Now, I give him the benefit of the doubt, too, because he was going through a lot, off the court, with his stuff that was happening to his brothers. That was it just came one after one after one, and it all happened during the playoffs. So maybe that was weighing heavily on him. Maybe a season off, getting his mind together and coming back, he'll be a little bit better and more of the player that we saw. But if he can't continue to be consistent, that's something they definitely going to have to look at.
Yeah, I just think they're going to have to start looking for other options in order to keep the rest of their core together. They don't necessarily need to keep KCP. I think he obviously is a great player and helps them and fills a need. But now you're down a backup point guard. You got to replace that. Maybe some of these younger guys that they've drafted can continue to get better and grow their role. But at a certain point, you're going to have to – this is how it happens. You're not overpaying, but you're spending a lot of money to keep this core together.
Mm-hmm.
Can you still justify this if you're in the second apron every year?
Right.
Or do you have to find other ways to – get out of there and save some money while also keeping as much of that core together as you can?
Makes sense.
Andrew McKay in the comments saying, so if it takes 3 second-round picks to dump off $5 million, what is it going to take to dump $40 million? In reference to Zach LaVine. Yikes. There is still a teeny tiny part of me that's holding out hope that the Bulls can get off Zach without giving up assets.
I think I'm gaining optimism on that front.
He's a 2-time All-Star. And let it be heard, fully medically cleared to play. He's healthy. He's a 2-time All-Star.
That's right. He's a sprite.
You know what? We don't even want to trade Zach. He's so valuable. We should probably just keep him.
Hold on to him.
Let's just keep him.
I mean,
you can't have him.
The team plays better when he's on the court.
He is athletic and his sprite.
Like I said before, teams are now going to be faced with do you want to trade for Brandon Ingram and then give him $250 million? Or do you want to trade for 3 years of Zach LaVine? And I think that all of a sudden that has to start becoming a more compelling option. Yeah. He's got to get back on the court. He's got to play better. He's just got to be better. But I think, as we've talked about before, that contract was the biggest issue with it. Yeah. You could say he's not a winning player. You could say he doesn't play defense, decision-making, blah, blah, blah. We know. But I think at the end of the day, the contract is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And if he can just get back on the floor, I think that's going to start to go away a little bit.
Yeah, that's a great point. So do you think that team's going to have to see it a little bit before they can make that move?
I mean, I think that it's a possibility. I'm not sure the Bulls really want to let it get to that point. I think they would prefer to get off of him now. But I think that's what, and we talked about it, I think that's what AK was talking about when he said we need to wait for free agency.
Okay.
If Jimmy Butler gets traded to the Sixers, do the Heat become an option? If the Sixers strike out on Jimmy Butler and Donovan Mitchell, now do they have to decide between paying Brandon Ingram, trading for and then paying Brandon Ingram, or getting Zach LaVine real cheaply? And I feel like Zach is a better option just with the way that the salary cap is working.
And there are a lot of signs pointing to, if the reporting is accurate, Mitchell staying in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Which, I think a lot of people thought he was ready to bounce out of there. I know Dave did.
I'll believe that when I see it.
Who the hell wants to be in Cleveland?
So shout out Shirtless Wonder, who's outside getting his thing on right
Kevin.
Did you ever find out why he was on crutches?
Oh, I don't know if it did. I do not see any crutches.
I don't see any crutches now.
But he is sitting in a chair.
Well, yes.
So you don't really need a crutch to sit in a chair.
But he brought one. He brought him out there last time to go sit in that chair. He sure has some crutches.
And Shirtless Wonder is fully shirtless.
Fully shirtless. Yes.
On brand.
What else?
The man doesn't disappoint.
It's out, the taco meat with the gold laying on it, and he got his glasses on. I mean, he is in full Shirtless Wonder mode. It's awesome,
Wonder mode.
Shout out to him, man. Shout out to him. Joey, did you have fun yesterday? Joey Spathis?
I thought you said goat.
Oh,
I had a great time.
You had a great time?
Fun. It got a little hectic for my liking at the end because
little bit.
It was just crowded in my area.
What's your perspective of that, Joe? Because I know what mine was.
Well, I don't want to blame anybody. Somebody did spill
but I'm about to blame somebody.
Somebody did spill a little bit of water on my laptop and Rodecaster, not on purpose. And this person is an awesome person and did not mean to. And it was actually because they were giving Big Dave a hug.
Of course.
And so that happened. But it was just a lot. It was a lot going on.
Damage.
I was trying to keep the show rolling. I was trying to keep people away from bumping into the camera. But I had a great amount of fun. And I loved afterwards when the show ended and I was able to go and talk to some of the guys, talk to Dave Peck, and I talked to Emilio, my guy, Par Junior Sports.
Par Junior.
I talked to JR from GR. I talked to talked to Ace Strick for a while.
Dude, shout out Strick.
His family and everything that's going on with him, and that was great. It was just all these events are, especially for me, behind the camera.
Yeah.
And it's pretty surreal to have, all the support. And so can't thank you guys enough. You came out, or if you're just somebody that watches and supports, it was awesome. So thank you all.
I mean, much love to everybody who came out. You rattle off a bunch. Shout out also Alonzo and his buddy Brandon, who, bless their hearts, was entertaining my brother for most of the evening, or tolerating his presence, is another way to say it. Shout out to Eli. Shout out to, of course, Melissa and Briscoe, who both got to hop on, join us for a while on the show.
That was fun.
So many wonderful. Shout out to Barton and his brother. He brought his brother along. Some more diehards.
For sure. Shout out to Barton.
Yeah.
Great to see Barton again.
Good people.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Oh, shout out to
I think
IM
I hadn't
Keys.
seen Barton since Mark K was in town.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
I think the last time I saw Barton was, a watch-along we did over at Rinaldi's, I think.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wonderful people. Also, I mean, truly, we need to shower Joe with all the credit and praise in the world, because producer's job for an event like that.
Hey,
I was stressed out for Joe.
Hey, tell me your view of the couple.
I don't want to make anybody feel bad. I don't know if you guys saw the message I sent to you in the group in our Slack channel.
I had to look at it.
I saw.
I said, all right, enough of these.
All right, enough of these two.
I did see that. I did see that.
Listen, they were having fun and all the love to them, but they did come right off and then come up to me and ask if I could play that back so they could see it. I said, dude, we are live and please go away. Go anywhere else. That was it. Go anywhere else.
Shout out to man.
That's what started my relative.
Yeah.
Let's keep the area clear.
Yeah.
They were great.
Some crazy stuff is going on.
Crazy stuff going
Twitter
on
right now.
as far as round 2 of the draft as we near the end. Shams apparently has been repeatedly locked out of his Twitter account.
Shams, Jake Fisher, and Woj are all locked out.
Wow.
Shams has one tweet from a minute ago saying, "My account keeps getting locked." ...
Thanks a lot, Elon.
Meanwhile, he has not tweeted. Other than that one tweet, Woj has not tweeted since retweeting Bontemps 11 minutes ago.
Whoa.
What is happening?
Something's
Thanks,
going on.
Elon. You dipshit.
Jake
Way
Fisher,
to ruin something sports fans all
Honestly,
loved.
Jake Fisher's account being locked. All the love to Jake Fisher, but
Shout out.
he was
to
missing left and right yesterday.
He had a few whoopsie-daisies last
a
night.
couple claims, man.
He took accountability for him.
He did.
was
I know. I felt bad
That was my
because he
part.
was at the end. He was like, "I've got it wrong again. I'm so sorry, everyone."
My part was like, all right, let's try this again.
Yeah, that was tough. Listen, I get it, Jake. I make mistakes.
Yeah, it's
my
all right,
job
Jake,
basically all the fucking time.
You do a lot of great work. So
We
shout
all
out to
make
you.
mistakes.
Yeah, man.
So Enrique Freeman went to the Pacers at 50. So that was the second of their back-to-back picks.
And then I saw Melvin Ajinça went at 51 and then was traded to the Dallas Mavericks.
Ooh, all right. Dallas getting a little spicy. I think
From
that's
the
Dallas's
Knicks.
first action
And
between
then,
last night and today.
We got action.
And then the Warriors select Quinton Post.
Quinton Post going to the Warriors at, what was that, pick 52?
52.
All right, we're getting there.
Yeah,
Pistons on the clock at 53.
Post is a big Ajinça spot-up shooter. Who was the Enrique Freeman? I got to pull up my
Akron,
yes.
Ohio.
Kind of scraping
Shout
the
out.
bottom of the barrel
Who's
here.
there?
But we are getting up to
We're getting up to 55.
55.
Speaking of Akron, Ohio.
Oh, I'm excited. I can't lie. I'm excited just to see it. Just see what happens.
Pistons
Okay.
on the clock right now at 53.
Okay.
I
We
did-
got close.
I
God.
tweeted this yesterday morning. I cannot believe how the only certainty in this entire draft was the 55th pick.
The only certainty.
What if
We literally
what
had
if they
no
don't ta-
idea.
What if they don't take him?
Who was going number one?
Wait, I was going to say that.
What if they don't take
What
him?
if they're just like, nah, we'll take Cam Spencer, UConn. No thanks,
There's
Bronny.
no way. There's no way they pass on
LeBron
him.
just like, sorry.
That would just be wild to go
just-
through all of this and then to pass on him. When you say that this is what you wanted was to play with your son and then to pass on that.
It
That doesn't
could
make
just
any
be
sense.
like I'm going to break up with you before you break up with me move by the Lakers front office. LeBron's old. He's, he still put up numbers this past season.
He put up numbers.
but he's old.
His old
And
is
the Lakers
different.
got to do what the Lakers got to do, and that team is always trying to win championships.
Yeah.
Appeasing LeBron by drafting his son, it's a waste of a draft pick. I'm not saying that to be mean. It's a waste of a draft pick.
We'll see.
Joey, what was your stat
definitely be
from yesterday?
No doubt about that.
I said it later, I think, when you left, Goat, but he would be the first.
I'm going to Summer League too.
According to Sam Vecini,
doesn't mean
the
I should be
first one and done ever who is under 6'1" and averaged less than 5 points per game.
Crazy.
Damn.
So if he wasn't LeBron's son, it's not really an exaggeration to say he would have very little chance to be drafted just based off the size and the college production.
Okay.
Andrew in the comments saying the Celtics taking Bronny would be the ultimate troll to the Lakers. The Celtics are slotted at 54. And if it doesn't hurt enough that the Celtics finally got championship 18 to officially put them ahead of the Lakers in the all-time NBA championships collection, and that happened shortly after the passing of Lakers icon Jerry West, like, the Lakers have been taking some L's in their rivalry with Boston recently.
Yeah.
If Boston drafted Bronny James, oh my, you have to assume that was the first call Rich Paul made. If this report is in fact correct, that Rich Paul is calling teams saying, don't you dare draft Bronny.
Yeah.
Boston had to be the first.
I don't know why anybody's freaking out about it. He's going to the Lakers at 55.
He's going.
He's going to the Lakers.
George.
So trade.
Hey, all right. Just got a slew of tweet alerts.
It appears the newsbreakers are back.
Newsbreakers are back. Memphis taking Cam Spencer at 53, so they got that pick from Detroit.
Mm-hmm. Motor guy.
Another national champ.
Yeah.
Man, UConn's entire team got drafted.
Yeah, man.
Pretty crazy.
High IQ player. I think he transferred from Rutgers, maybe, the year before, won a national championship with Hurley. Obviously, boosted his draft stock a little. High IQ player, role player, fit perfectly on that UConn team. Sort of a player that's like a little annoying to watch, maybe for me.
That pick came from Minnesota, actually, who are moving to number 57, according to Woj. That is where the Grizzlies were slated at 57. So now it's T-Wolves at 57 after that Grizz pick.
Okay. We're getting close.
We are getting
close. We're getting close.
We're getting there, baby.
Step back, you're dancing kind of close.
Ooh, interesting from Jake Fisher.
On you.
He said the Warriors traded this number 52 pick for Lindy Waters. OKC traded it to Portland, and then Golden State bought it back a couple hours later because the second round is the second round, baby.
Wow.
I love that.
This is where you kind of also misread Auerbach and Pat Riley, because you know they would be drafting Bronny James just off the pettiness of this.
Oh, yeah, just for petty.
Just straight up to be petty.
I'm actually now turning my attention more towards, like, who could the Bulls sign as an undrafted free agent.
Okay.
And there's a couple of guys like PJ Hall's big wing. You could shoot a little bit.
Villas in the comments just said the same thing. I'm ready to see what UDFA's AK goes after.
Kevin McCullough Jr. was a defensive, like, just great defensive player over the last couple of years. I feel like he's going to probably sign with a team like the Suns or something like that.
Okay.
Trey Alexander, similar. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who they sign. The last couple of years, that like immediately after the draft has ended, there have been reports out about Justin Lewis or Adama Sanogo.
Some other names on your board on the in the second round area. Kashad Johnson, Arizona, he's still available, right? His teammate got drafted.
So.
Pell Larson, but no Johnson yet. Clemson's PJ Hall. I don't think I've seen him taken off the board yet.
PJ Hall.
Yeah.
Real quick, let me drop
Kevin
this.
McCullough Jr. from Kansas. I mean, come on, just legally change your name to Kevin McAllister. If you're really going to do this, what? Why is your name not Kevin McAllister?
Still won't be better than
Get
Johnny
with the
Furphy.
program.
Won't be better than Johnny Furphy.
You're still obsessed with Johnny Furphy.
That's my guy now, man. Look, Kelly Kapowski said he's going to the dance, all right? Shout out to the people who are sitting there watching. We got over 300 people right now, but only 94 likes. We're going to need them likes to get up. So go ahead, hit that like button. Throw some thumbs up for our guy Joey over there who's working hard. I got Will to go Gottlieb who is on some C4 right now, so he's been grinding.
Draft brain working.
This man over here, Matt Peck, you know how he grinds.
I'm just his thing. I'm chilling.
Come on, y'all. Give us the thumbs. We need the thumbs. Shout out Troll Joe. He needs all the thumbs, man.
I need this draft to end. This has gone on.
Oh, yay.
2 hours is sweaty.
Will's getting there.
I'm getting there.
You should have saw before we started yesterday, he was on 55. He was ready. And now
55. Well, how many likes we got? Yeah, okay. Over 109. What do we do if we get to 200 likes in like the last 15 minutes?
200 likes in the last 15. We can do this. We can do this, y'all. I see y'all hitting that thumbs up.
The tankathon simulator.
I mean,
that's right.
the Cubs crew are sweating out a close game, by the way, right now. It's Cubs-Giants 3-3, top of the 9th. Ooh. Our guy Cody's sweating over there. Oh. If the Cubs haven't fully killed his spirit yet.
Cody's not sweating anymore.
Oh, no.
He's for his own
sake. Should we check in?
He looks really defeated.
He's starting to detach.
I saw an Instagram video of Cody's this morning that I think was from yesterday about how the Cubs are starting to remind him of the Bulls. Ooh. And I was like, oh, no, Cody.
Oh, we got to check in.
Oh, no. But, I mean, like, dude, the Cubs are, what, 7 games under 500?
We got a couple of Shams bombs in here.
We got some Shams bombs?
Number 54, Boston is selecting Anton Watson.
Anton Watson.
55, the most obvious pick in the history of the NBA. The Los Angeles Lakers are selecting Bronny James.
I am shocked to my foundation.
Who could have seen this coming?
Come on, dog. Like, I don't know why there was even a doubt. Like, seriously. You knew who they were going to do. There's no way this was going to be passed over. There was no way. LeBron don't care how this looked. Oh. He told his intentions clearly. He know what he wanted to do. Bronny James to the Lakers. There it is.
Does Bronny play in Summer League?
Yes.
Does LeBron show up at Summer League to watch Bronny?
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is happening.
Okay. I could not care less about Bronny James. Could not care less. All the best to him. As far as like, I hope medically speaking, he lives a happy, healthy life. You know, this is a kid who had a really crazy scare.
Yeah,
competing, in a college basketball game. I'm not trying to gloss over that in any way.
Yeah, man.
As an NBA fan, I couldn't care less about Bronny James. But if Bron shows up to Summer League,
he'll be there.
It could be the first real chance in my life I've had as a lifelong Bron hater to come face to face with a man and tell him what I really think and see whether or not I chicken out on telling him what I really think of him.
I'm glad you added that last part because I do think that I'm always somebody that would be like, God, when I was younger, I was like, if I ever saw LeBron, boy, would I tell him. And then I was like, I probably wouldn't. But with Matt, I think that there's a real chance that he would. And I still think there's a real chance you wouldn't because it's LeBron fucking James.
Oh, I'd say that.
And he's 6'9" and huge. And
what's he going to do?
No, not going to do anything. But
how dare you to hit me?
Well, I couldn't see you saying
millions of dollars. No, I'm just saying, ouch. What? Ouch, LeBron.
Well, Big Dave, what would you say? I feel like you would say.
I don't know. It ain't LeBron. I don't have that hate for LeBron.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying if I saw somebody, if I saw John Starks now, I would tell John Starks I hate his guts.
But LeBron's LeBron. It's a little
now,
different.
Today, at this point, I walked in. Y'all be like, hey, what's up, John Starks? Hey, bro, I truly hated you. I hated your guts when you played for the Bulls.
Can I just say, though, like, it is pretty freaking cool that a father and son are playing together.
Yes, without a doubt.
Ken
That's
Griffey
awesome.
Jr., Ken Griffey Sr. Like, it's pretty impressive. And it speaks, obviously, to LeBron's longevity and legacy and all that. But, like,
just think about how Del Curry and Steph weren't close to overlapping.
Yeah.
Like, when did Del Curry retire? I can't recall off the top of my head, but and that's just one example. I mean, there have been tons of father-sons that both, have NBA careers and even long NBA careers, both father and son.
Sure.
Let's see. Del Curry retired 2001, 2002 was his final season with Toronto Raptors, and then Steph got drafted in which draft class? 2003.
LeBron?
7?
Steph.
Oh, Steph.
2009? 2009? No,
Steph was after Derek, so it's 2009.
Yeah.
2009,
yeah, that's what I thought, 2009. So they missed overlapping by 8 years, like almost a decade.
Yeah, almost a decade, yeah.
First father-son duo ever in the NBA.
Shout out.
It's like, that is actually really cool.
No, I'm not against that.
It is cool.
Here it comes.
Is it as cool knowing that the validity of this person getting drafted is in significant question, and everyone saying we all know who the Lakers are going to take at 55 because it's LeBron's son?
I just feel
does that dampen the coolness? Because I think it does.
Who cares?
I don't think it's as cool. If basically the only reason he's getting drafted is nepotism.
Look at them all shaking hands and hugging.
Look at like all of the other people who are the sons of NBA players who were drafted or even maybe undrafted prospects who found their way to the league, not because of who their fathers were, but because of their basketball talent. In no way is that the case with Bronny.
Okay,
in no way.
They wasted the 55th pick in the draft. Like, who cares?
No, I'm just saying it makes it less cool as the first ever father-son to be in the same league and now also on the same team.
It's
also
just like every team that LeBron has ever been on has bent over backwards to accommodate him and give him what he wanted. This is no different.
Right. Which makes the whole father-son thing less cool, in my opinion, because it's not about the talent of the young man. It's about who his father is.
If I were an NBA team, I would spend the 55th pick on Bronny. Like, I know he did not perform well in college. He was a much higher level recruit in high school. Obviously, he had the heart condition, and that set him back in a big way.
Yeah.
But, like, he's a very good defender. He can shoot the ball. He's a smart player. Like, he could be a role player. Who knows? And I would take the 55th pick on him just because why not? So I absolutely hear what you're saying. He would not be drafted if his name was LeBron
Peck
Jr.
That Jerry.
Why not? If you're the Lakers, why not?
I thought Jerry might have wanted to take a swing on him. Could you imagine the G League jersey sales?
Oh, man. Flying off the shelves. It's also like the Lakers.
Serious. The Windy City Bulls would be going crazy.
Everything about the Lakers is already such a circus that, like, this just doesn't surprise me at all. It's LeBron. It's the Lakers. Like, do you know how many people are going to be going to Las Vegas Summer League from LA to watch this kid? Like,
a lot.
It's just whatever. It is what it is.
Stay home, Lakers fans. I don't want to run into you trash people when I'm in Vegas.
Yes, I want to run into other people in Vegas.
I don't know. I would prefer it if we were the only ones there. People suck, Dave.
Mean people suck.
Mean people suck. Crowds of people also sucks.
I do all right in them.
And it seems like we're having another freeze out by the...
Yeah. I have not seen a tweet since 5 minutes ago, and we still have some picks left beyond Bronny, or are they just canceling the remaining picks because we got to Bronny?
Shams tweeted the Boston Celtics are selecting Anton Watson, and then less than a minute later, he said the Lakers are selecting Bronny. Like, they wasted no time. This was just so obvious.
I wonder how long he's had it. Like, for weeks, he just knew. Like, yeah,
I mean, dude, Shams already had a Photoshop of Bronny in a Laker in a number 6 Lakers jersey.
Great point. Oh, man.
It honestly feels like when I'm playing Madden and I'm scouting the players in the fake draft, and I say, I don't give a shit. I'm going to quit the game until I'm able to draft. If somebody else takes him, I'm quitting and restarting and trading for that pick. Because, they're not letting Bronny slip past them. Hey, don't take us. We'll go to Australia. Hey, we only want to play with the Lakers. Hey, we refuse to do a 2-way contract. This was the plan all along. Never a doubt.
Never a doubt.
Never a doubt.
Couple more picks here, and then we will see who the Bulls pick up as undrafted free agents.
Okay.
Yay.
Isaiah Crawford, he's still not been drafted. I like him. Louisiana Tech. Does it all.
Guard?
Huge stats. He's like a big guard.
Okay.
I had him at, where is he on my board?
Will loves the guards.
35. So 6'7", 22, 8, and 3 per 75 possessions, 2.9 steals, 2.3 blocks, a lot of turnovers, but 41% three-point shooter on relatively low volume, but just very much like a do-it-all older player who like just absolutely dominated his competition. But he's just interesting. He's long. He's versatile. He's like a Thunder player to me.
We do have a Woj tweet. Minnesota has traded number 57 to the Toronto Raptors.
Okay.
So we will see if that. But wait, we got 56 before that, right? Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
Reportedly traded to the Timberwolves via the Knicks and Suns at 56, and Woj just said that Minnesota at pick 57.
Still waiting.
Oh no, Minnesota traded 57 to Toronto.
He's playing with his son. Yeah. That's a cool thing.
It's cool.
I think it's cool. I honestly agree with both your points.
Yeah, and I totally agree with Matt too. But at the same time, like he may never even make it to the NBA. He may not make the NBA roster. He may not get on the court in the NBA level if he does.
Yeah, I think
I have a feeling he might because he's got some sway with the coach.
Yeah, I think having those guys being in a position of power, it's not out of the norm for them to take advantage of that. Like I immediately think of D Wade. And when his son came out, guess what G League team he was on? The team that he owned, or what he's one of the owners of, which is the Utah Jazz. And that we know why he's there. So I understand them trying to look out for their kids. And LeBron saying that was his dream to play with his son before he retired. So, yeah, I get it. I get it from that sense. But I completely understand what Matt is saying, too. How it might take away from that kind of thing because it's not happening naturally like the Ken Griffey and his son,
right?
And how that kind of things kind of went down. So I completely get it.
We got a little Bulls player take on the whole Bronny James thing.
Let's go.
Zach LaVine, not known for his frequency of tweeting, just tweeted, imagine being able to play with your son. This is historic. Having 2 boys myself, I couldn't imagine how that would feel. Salute emoji. Gee, I wonder if that Rich Paul client is trying to make his way to play with Bron and Bronny.
I wonder how many Rich Paul
didn't he show up at
tweeted
some Bronny event like recently where he was like shaking LeBron's hand and doing whatever?
And Anthony Davis too.
His like pro day or whatever.
Yeah.
I would also love
Zach.
to play with
Zach,
the
you silly
father-son
boy.
duo, regardless of me not being related. It would be so cool.
I mean,
it'd be pretty awesome.
An immediate kiss of the ring. That is hilarious.
I wonder how many Clutch Sports players have tweeted something out about it.
All of them.
That's what I like to see. Mandatory. The memo went out.
All of the players. Yeah.
The memo, when it happens, guys.
If I was LeBron and I really wanted Zach LaVine, I think the way you do it is you make him Bronny's godfather or something, and then they have to do it.
He's right.
What? Family
Firmly.
first.
The first ever father-son godfather trio on the same
in the history of the
NBA.
How old is Brian? 19, 20?
Around that.
Is that a little old to finally name him a godfather?
It's like restructuring a contract.
True story. Do you have godparents of any kind?
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm.
Do you and you know who they are?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Shout out Mrs. Do.
My both of my older siblings have either a godmother or a godfather. My parents don't remember if I have one.
Oh, wow.
That's being the third kid for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They don't remember.
No. One of many things that my parents do not remember about my childhood.
To be fair, whoever they told, how come they don't remember?
No one has ever come up to me
one's come
at a
forward?
family function or on the street to be like, hey, Matt, I'm your godparent.
Wow. That is interesting.
On the street.
On the street. To pull up.
What, you think it's like Fish? Fish is your godfather.
Just pull up on it. Roll the window down. Hey.
I mean, I'm not looking for one.
Hey, come here. Let me talk to you for a second.
It appears we have another pick in.
We do?
The Suns at 56 have taken Kevin McCullough Jr., which I just called, by the way.
Shout out, go.
Kansas forward. Very good defender. Shot it all right last year. Got hurt. But he was very productive at the college level. A lot of people thought he was going to be like early second round, late first round kind of player.
I'm
but
sort of surprised he made it all the way to here.
To me, at this point in the draft, I think agents are trying to angle to get their guys in the teams that make the most sense for them.
Okay.
And so you either say we don't want to be drafted here, we're gonna sign with somebody else in as an undrafted free agent, or we're gonna wait and kind of find the right spot for us later in the second round. So I do think that especially in the 50s, that's when agents really get involved with picks and sending their players where they want them to go. And McCullough Jr., I mean, they drafted Ryan Dunn in the first round. They clearly need defense, and McCullough, I think, gives them a little bit more potential to shoot. So we'll see how it goes for them. But I think that's just a good fit. It makes sense. He's going to be NBA ready, and they need that. They need to win now because they are in dire straits. The Suns are.
This is true. They need bodies.
They need bodies, but they need to win a championship.
As I said yesterday, right? Well, I was like, they need people who can walk.
They need
talk,
human
and breathing
people.
Yes, preferably human breathing people. Preferably what they need.
There was a report the other day that the Rockets are after Kevin Durant. They need to win a championship this year. That's the pressure they're under.
Yeah, no, you're right.
There was a report the other day the Bulls are after Kevin Durant. So, we're clearly getting him.
The Rockets working out prospects. It's just them putting a stethoscope on them. Is it beating? All right, you're good.
You're good? All right, let's go. Put a jersey on him. Let's get in there.
We love it.
Can he sit up? All right, we got him. That's all we need is a guy on the bench, man. They need bodies and more of them, man. They're in a really weird predicament. Do you think that if it goes south for Phoenix during the season, they'd be looking to make some kind of trade? Like trying to trade. Well, because I know they're not looking for Devin Booker to go at all. But maybe Bradley Beal or Kevin Durant. Would they be looking?
Well, Beal's got the no trade clause still, so he can say.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that baller ass move. Yes, good job.
He can say, "Nope, I'm good here."
Yeah, no, I'm smooth.
And that's why, like, are you going to trade 28-year-old Devin Booker in his prime, or are you going to trade 36-year-old Kevin Durant while you can still get a boatload of picks for him and retool around Booker? So I think Durant would be the move. They obviously could trade Booker and you get even more for him, but I mean, basically the Nets turned Durant into 9 first-round picks and whatever they get for Cameron Johnson.
That's true.
So I think they're not going to get as much as that, but at a certain point, you do have to make some of those decisions because it's not just about their age; it's also about how much money they're spending, and that they're a second apron team, and it's going to be very hard to move forward with that kind of group.
That's true. Jake, we got some cookies. Sure. You said we had them. That's why I'm asking for them. And nice shirt, by the way, sir. Not many people can pull off.
Well, yeah. Where did he say they came from? Someplace.
Crumble cookies.
Is that like a popular cookie joint?
It's a cookie joint.
You would hate it.
What? Why would he hate it?
I love that Joey just said that.
I mean, with all
just because I hate all things that normal people like.
No, people don't. It's a love and hate. I think it's fine, but they're very sweet. Like a lot of sugar,
also,
a lot of stuff in it. But also, it's like a trendy.
Oh yeah,
newer,
pass.
He hates it. See, do I know my guy? Or do I know my guy?
You know me, Joe.
So
you know me.
Love it.
Sweets.
Sure, come on with it.
Oh my goodness.
Are they a sponsor?
Oh my God! Even the box looks annoyingly trendy. Get out of here.
What do we got in here?
Help
Peanut butter and jelly, chocolate chip.
Peanut butter and jelly. Yeah, you got stuff. Stuff is going on. Stuff is going on.
Stuff is going on.
Let me try. Was that peanut butter on it? Well, I can't have that.
Dave, are you allergic to peanut butter?
I am.
Are you allergic to other kinds of nuts? Because it looks like there's.
I don't do nuts either. Yeah, I don't do nuts.
Chocolate ones look like they probably have nuts in them.
Yeah, I see them. Honey bun. It's a honey bun cookie?
Charlie in the comments just said crumble cookies are low-key overrated and overpriced.
Oh, Jake, they're not feeling them. They're not
feeling man.
I think they're good, but
they're not liking the way the cookie
crumbles. Would you eat one if it was right in front of you?
Oh.
You see what I did there?
Hey.
You see what I did there? I'm proud of myself, man. Proud of myself.
You made a cookie crumbles joke.
I did.
Shout out Bruce Almighty.
And that's the cookie crumbles.
Ooh, I just saw a good tweet.
Okay.
That inspired a question. If you're Bronny and you're playing with your dad, do you call him dad on the court? Is that all weird? Like, dad, pass me the ball.
I mean,
one more?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think gut would be no, but also like Bronny sound too similar if you're trying to differentiate if they have to be on the court at the same time.
Thank you, Jake.
I will say, like, it's not quite the same as playing and being teammates, but my dad was my soccer coach for many years growing up.
Flex.
He was also my sister's soccer coach.
Double flex.
And so, like, there is that weird dichotomy or that weird element of, like, coach and player and parent and child and how those things sort of coexist in a sports arena, in a sports world. I feel I'm
got a vision of Matt's dad snapping over at him. Matt's just, get off my ass, Dad! I'm doing what I can out there.
I mean, I would say, if anything, instead of giving me preferential treatment, he was, tough on me, called me out, made sure that he was making me work as hard or harder than my teammates.
Cool. That's a good thing.
And I think depending on the environment, I would either call him coach or dad.
Okay.
I kind of felt it out.
Coach Dad?
Yeah, Coach Dad.
Guys, we have the final 2 picks in.
Let's go.
The draft is officially over. Actually, the 57 is still, Fisher has it, but we can wait for confirmation. But he tweeted that the Toronto Raptors have traded for the pick, and they are taking NBA Africa Academy product Ulrich Chomchi.
Yes.
Another guy you mentioned?
There we go. Shout out Joakim.
Another Raptor. He is a Raptor.
He is a Raptor. Congratulations. You are a Toronto Raptors.
And then at 58, New York is taking Ariel Hukporti, big man, very big man.
Very big
center.
man.
He's an interesting prospect. So we'll see now about the undrafted free agents. But for now, this draft is over. 2 days. And we are done.
We did it.
Happy.
We did it.
Done.
Meanwhile, If you
Did
hear
it,
some
sir.
shouting in the background, that's because Cubs Giants just went to extra innings, locked at 3, top of the 10th right now.
Okay.
Cubs trying to drive in a run, get themselves a lead, and hopefully close this out in 10.
Fish said, my parents didn't even come to my games. I loved it. I talked so much shit.
Oh, way to be, Fish.
Oh,
I
man.
mean, you got to start trash talking at a young age. You do. I would not shut up on the soccer field.
Yeah. Oh, my nephew, boy, he used to talk tons of trash.
And I
As a kid.
was a goalie, so like you're supposed to talk. You know, you're shouting
Goalies
out
talk
directions
crap?
to your team.
Oh,
You know,
you mean
your
that
team,
way.
your defensive line in front of you. Like you're yelling out instructions.
Gotcha.
And I use that as my reasoning for like just running my mouth all the time.
Right.
man.
It's like the passive aggressive trash talk. Oh, let this kid shoot. He sucks.
Yeah, right.
Like that.
No, let him give it to
Or
me.
like
leave him open. No,
tell the
he's-
outfielders like, come in, like
Right.
pull
Exactly.
in.
He's no threat. He's no threat. We're fine.
No, bring him to me. Bring him to me. I got it. I like that. Psychological.
Apparently, Ian Happ just did something good because the Cubs are now up 5-3.
Hey, there you go.
Oh, Happ homered, bringing in their runner on second, Bellinger. All right, Cubs. Can we close that out, please?
Yeah.
We just closed out day 2 of the NBA draft. Can we please close out
Close
a
it out
Cubs
with
W? I'm wearing my Hey Chicago, what do you say shirt. For crying out loud.
Quiet out loud.
I'm worried about the mental health of my friend Cody.
They're up 5-3, and Cody still looks
Just
like
close
they're
it
down
out.
12. Help them out, Cubs.
It's going to take a lot more than one win to
Oh,
fix
I know
Cody.
this. I have learned, sir. I have learned. Learned definitely. It's going to take more victories for that young man to have some joy in his heart.
So that officially concludes. Bulls did not trade into the second round. I didn't necessarily expect them to.
No.
I'm not devastated by that.
Not at all.
It was still fun to see which prospects went off the board on day number 2.
Bronny James.
Casey Johnson just tweeted a reminder to Bulls fans that they currently don't own any of their own second round picks until 2028. So,
But if they trade Andre
same
Drummond
time,
for
same place
free, they
next
could
year.
pick up a few.
Yeah.
Sorry,
That part.
damn
No,
it,
don't
Will.
apologize.
we've
Will.
been going too long.
No.
Yes, we have. So we will get out of here. Hopefully, we have a Cubs W post game right around the corner. So keep it locked here on CHGO Sports YouTube channel for all you Cubs fans out there. This was a fun couple of days.
This was fun.
We'll see what happens next. I do believe, and I'm maintaining some semblance of optimism and positivity, that AK is not BSing when he said roster changes are happening.
Yeah.
More changes should be on the way. He didn't
Yes.
say that part, but he basically said that part without
did.
saying that part.
Correct. Let's
So,
see it.
Hey,
Let's see it, my friend.
Buzelis looks like a value falling to the Bulls at 11.
Yeah.
We got the Caruso Giddey thing. I'm still mad about it. I'll get over it,
Yeah.
but we move forward.
We move on, man. Thank God for
And we will
watching.
be here tomorrow to round out another episode for y'all, 4 p.m. Central, live for our 5th and final show of CHGO Bulls Draft Week, presented by our friends at Coors Light,
Correct.
helping us through Draft Week.
Can't wait, man. This was fun. Shout out to the GOAT for all the work that he
Dude.
did as well, man.
Go,
Shout out to
go,
you guys.
Joe.
His ass.
And Joey.
Go and
Busting
Joey
his
are the
ass.
MVPs of this week, y'all.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Dave and
more
I just
so,
sit
though.
here.
Without a doubt. Shout out to my AC.
Back tomorrow. In the meantime, read everything Will has written, allchgo.com, about the draft, about Buzelis, about AK's press conference from last night. If you haven't read it yet, there's lots of great stuff in there. Go check it out, allchgo.com. Follow him, Will_Gottlieb. Big Dave is at BAWL Sports. Our pal and producer, our hero for the week, Joey Spathis, on the controls at Joey Spathis.
Just for the week.
I mean, always.
Fair enough.
Now and always.
Now, I got to think Joey earn it. Come on, man.
Oh, man, you would hate this cookie, Joy. And guess
I
what?
was right.
He was right. I'm Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls. Thank you for hanging out with us
Don't be
yesterday
offended,
and today. And hopefully we'll see you again tomorrow, Bulls Nation. Hit that like button on the way out. Keep it here for Cubs post game. Have a great Thursday night. See you, Red. Be good.
Peace. Love y'all.